this platform is independent, and we wanted to work with everyone across the spectrum. So folks are invited to share what they know, and the viewers makes their choice, and we ask the questions and we give just the opportunity to answer.
This craziness, man, I do not care. Why am I so anti-establishment? Because of what I've seen the establishment do to people. That's why I cannot be pro-establishment.
Power is in the hands of the people. And it really did. What we all witnessed is the government, they knew that they're heading in the wrong direction. They knew Gambians are speaking in the same voice.
What law in the books that says the government has power to come out and go after folks' private citizens' properties and demolish them because somehow the government interest?
The only way that we can salvage our country is when everybody that gets their hand dirty. Don't sit there with your expertise and just to procrastinate everything that people say or pontificate, what everybody says or does. Let's get our hands dirty.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. People by the people. Pop Samba, you ready?
No, so what? He's a president. Trump, Meet the Press. He was being interviewed by Meet the Press. We know that the 2020 elections were stolen. And I got 95% bad press. The reason for that was Meet the Press is crooked. NBC is crooked. ABC is CNN is crooked. But you've not presented any evidence. You know what? Let's call it quits. And he walked off the
Oh, he walked away?
Oh, yes. Then you know what? Let him know. You know, Mr. President, I traveled all the way to Wisconsin. I've given you 1 hour. That's enough. We call it quits. Thank you, darling.
Pop Sunday, of course, another Sunday on 40 people by the people. I've been trying to get hold of my man, Shariang. I think he traveled to England. And obviously, we all heard the sad news about the passing of his uncle, Dr. Karamo Sonko. And on behalf of obviously, 40 people by the people, we extend our condolences to Sariang and the entire family. Pop Samba, definitely. I mean, we've heard great things about the man, but it's just one of those things. Every other time we come here on Sunday and we will be talking about somebody passing. I mean, like I always said, I mean, that is if you're talking about one thing, the finality of it. Pop Samba.
Yeah, it's sad though, because Dr. Karamo, I think I first heard his name from TAF. And TAF used to have this event in the Gambia around January and all that stuff.
December, right?
Yeah, December, January, and that's where I heard his name. And I've heard some great things about the guy. Another Gambian intellectual, giant intellectual doing great things around the world. And definitely we extend our condolences to Sarian, of course, who is now in the Gambia attending the burial. I think he was buried yesterday.
Right. I saw
in Fonyi. And the entire family, and of course to the nation, and of course TAF, because I think he was the chairman of the TAF Africa TAF Global Foundation or group. So it's a major loss, Musa, because these are Gambians who are doing great things and flying the flag of the country so high and so nicely around the world. When you lose people like that, definitely it's a big loss for a nation like ours. So may his soul rest in peace. And you like the finality of it, because that's it,
Definitely.
You are here one day, the next day it's all over. But life is like they say, it's transient. You know,
Very
you will
transient.
go through it, and maybe pretty soon. You never know.
Pretty soon, binanga wara tege bor. Pretty soon. Well, anyway, who else can actually talk about the man, Dr. Karamo Sonko? And we thought it was appropriate, Pop Samba, to bring no other than Mr. Panjai. You've just mentioned it. It was in one of his meetings that he usually holds every December. And in fact, one of them, Dr. Karamo was there.
Yep.
Good afternoon, Taf. How are you?
Good afternoon, Musa. Good afternoon, Pasamba. I'm glad that you've restored back. You've restored back, and I guess you can hear me now loudly, huh?
We can hear you loud and clear. We can definitely hear you loud and clear. Taf, we were just,
good afternoon.
We were just extending condolences to Sariang and, of course, to yourself and to the entire country for that matter. But we thought it was appropriate for somebody like you. You know the man. And when they get Dr. Karamuchi Olakudege, and at quite a few interviews, you will interject his name. So, why don't we bring Taf? Let him talk about, Dr. Karamo Sonko. And also for us to take the opportunity to extend our condolences to you personally. Who is Dr. Karamo? Taf.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Musa and Pasamba and the audience that is watching. Again, yes, we extend our condolences to Sariang and the family. I'm sure he's somewhere. He's in the Gambia. We were in Sinter yesterday.
Okay.
We were in Sinter yesterday. He came in on, well before the body came on Friday. He's been with us as a family. Dr. Karamo Sonko, if you want to talk about him, it's very difficult even to make a start or to end for who he is. And I will tell you something about this guy. No matter how close you are to him, what you don't know about him is much more than what you know. Because he was very discreet in with humility and working for humanity. In short, you can go into different areas to describe this man. But let me start first by telling you my relationship with him. At times people wonder, how come? When you say Tafanjai or Mustafa Njai or Yahiwa Banjul, how can he get connected and be so close to Karamo Sonko, who comes from Sintet and Quinala? To this magnitude, it is not something very common in our society. Correct. It's rare and it's relevant under this discussion. Nowadays, we are talking about people, who's passed all the time. It happens. But also, we must accept, guys, that we're in that age bracket. Some of us, our parents didn't live this long. So we're going to see more and more and more and more. In our minds and our hearts, we think we are young. But some of us are senior citizens, 65 and above. So therefore, Lilu Fiyagala, age bracket now is different. Life expectancy, it's higher. But anyway, focusing on Dr. Karamo Sonko, and I want to start with our relationship. New perseverance that the man fala yero. That's where my parents' houses are. So Dr. Karamo was one of those that used to live in Jeradafe's house. Yes. Because they are related, and we know in the past, in the 60s after independence, what we saw is that most of the people who came from up country, who will come for further studies, meaning going to high school. If you don't go to Amite, you have to be in Banjul. And if you are in Banjul, then what you do, you look at your close relative. And some of them, they're not even related, but because they just come from the area. So all those who are coming from the Jara areas or the Kiangs, live there. So, but focusing more on Kunala and around that area. So in Jeradafe's house, Karamo Sonko lived there. And then I can go back to even Nyom Bibi Dabo. We are connected there. Bibi Dabo, ñoom Lamin Koma, you know, the Dafes, the Tourés, you know, and so on, so on, so on. And then next door, I just want to take you back to history.
Absolutely.
Because in 1965, when we gained independence, those young politicians, they didn't have their own houses. So the new demarcation was New Perseverance and New Primate.
New Primate, correct.
So Perseverance and New Primate, you know, you had in politicians, if I start from the top, Sirif Diba, Jere Dafe, Hassan Musa Kamara, Kalilu Singate, Sirif Sise, you know, and New Perseverance. If you go to New Primate, Ngam Yaya Sise, Nyom Kuti Sanyang, you have Amankani, you know, who died very young, you know, and so the list goes on. So focusing now, Jere Dafe, Fala Hamante, Dr. Sonko. So ñun ñop nek wa Banjul, so ñëwé da nga interlink.
Right.
So somehow ñun suñ kër was diagonally opposite. We were opposite Hassan Musa Kamara, but diagonally opposite kër Jere Dafe. ñu xamanté. And mu nek suñu raka ñu makko. He's actually about 64 years old now. He's not even 65. In December he'll be 65.
Wow.
So ndeka ci koñ bi rek obviously di ngeen xamanté. You know, but we later reconnected when he settled in Ghana. You know, Musa, Dr. Sonko was very nomadic. Very nomadic. Musuma gis ku mel ni mom dafa xey suba rek.
Yes.
Bum njabotam gi rek. Dem dëkk boo xam ne, you know, doo musa xelaat ne kii sa war a dëkk foofu.
Right.
So as an introduction, I think loolu la ñu yàlla boole. Dañ def suñu daw Banjul. Why you reconnect and later xam naa si biir waxtaan bi dinaa gën a wax lan moo ñu gën a boole.
Again, one of your events Ipasamba kind of mentioned, and this was a December event you. Dr. Karamo actually was there in one of them. I cannot remember whether it was the first one or the second one. And he did speak at that event. And then you've mentioned quite a few interviews. He became the chairman of the board of TAF Global. How did that happen, and what was his role?
Okay, now it was in 2017 when Barrow just won. You know, the TAFCON started. Yeah, TAFCON. It's TAF conference. It was under my foundation. You know, I had set up a foundation when I was 60. And again, it was part of trying to give back, and I have different initiatives. Actually, Coach Nyona Sibenabi, which was at TAF Leadership Academy, you know, where he spoke to the young people. That's one initiative, trying to develop, you know, young leaders and give them great values. So Mom specifically, he was the guest speaker at TAFCON 2017. So TAFCON 2017 was when the new government was in place. So they came in, and he was then even my chairman. Now he was the chairman of the holding company. You know, TAF Africa Global is a holding company. It's a global company actually. We have offices in Dubai, registered in Dubai. So when we sign certain agreements outside of the Gambia, you sign with the global company for a lot of good reasons. So I was trying to identify somebody who will fit right into this position. And I can go further in that because, you know, Musa, it's good so that Haledi Deglu, this is Jange. Ki dem na lim fi liggéey nako, and that's Dr. Karamo ak ñeneen. But we must we must try to learn from their good deeds and to emulate them so that we can have a better world. We will always leave this world, but what is our legacy? So when I first tried to choose a board to constitute a board for TAF Africa Global, I took the Gambian dimension into being and also practicing what we preach. I wanted a very diverse board. Even at the ethnicity level, I wanted to produce a board that this is Gambia's best. And when you do these things, really, you have to be conscious of ethnicity. I didn't want to create a board where Africa Global,
yeah, it's the cabal.
Yeah, the cabal. So I wanted to bring in a board because I was dealing at global level. So people know how much at any level, if you place them there, you know, nobody, you know, you will honor them for who they are. So at first, I approached Maja Sonko, and you know, Maja put Belokosi board because I was looking some iota of a Mandinka that I can bring on board. But Maja for one reason or the other, he couldn't come on board. So I brought in then Karamo, one because of his knowledge. Karamo, corporate-wise, he has been involved in big companies, multinationals. And we call it any specialty. And then he's an academic. He's got a double PhD, he lectured, he's worked for UNCA, smart guy. He's written so many books, so many journals. So who else can you have better than Karamo Sonko to chair the board? So in the board also, as I told you, diverse. Obviously, I brought my sister Day, who works for the UN. Obviously, Liga Boka, then she was a Boka.
Of course.
And then I brought in Alpha Barry. Alpha Barry, obviously, Fuller.
Yeah.
I brought him in, but I was just conscious of this without saying it. I remember jokingly, me and Karamo, we go a long way, and we joke at times, and we have our disagreements, huh? That's what people don't understand. At times, we try to handle an issue, and then he goes like, "Look, I am your chairman, I'm your boss." Then I told Neko, "But you are my ndoke, I am your big brother." Also, we laugh about it. But really, the reason why specifically I chose him is, one, he is qualified.
Right.
If you have anybody with his resume anywhere, they will look at your business again. So in terms of corporate governance, he was top notch. But seriously, I was looking for a Mandinka to chair my board. And he fits in right. I remember once he did ask me this, "Hey, Alaji Mustafa," he called me Alaji Mustafa, "but why did you choose me as your chair?" Because, the company, I own it. He doesn't own any shares there. So in his quiet moments, he was just wondering, but why me of all people? So I looked at him and said, I chose you because you are a Mandinka. He laughed. Alaji Mustafa, you never stop, surprising me. But that's just pour affaire. Xam nga dëkk bi tam fi mu nekk dañ toll foofu. Dañ toll foo xam ne am na yu bari yuy xew. ñu ngi koo gis.
Absolutely.
Pour loolu dama isi foofu rek. Ne suñ buggee dem si kanam, suñ buggee compete at the global level. Correct. There are certain things, if we don't go past it, don't them fen. So that was why I brought him in as my chair, and he advised on corporate, and then he also has a very vast network.
Correct.
I was just talking now to I had some people who were here, and domam yi ñu ngi dëkk man, so we were all talking, and xam nga rek su nit gaañoo ku nekk dafa wax li nga wax, all what you say.
Different experiences. Absolutely.
So I tried to explain to them who Dr. Karamo Sonko is. And when Dr. Karamo Sonko, he is an ocean. An ocean, like the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean, just to simplify it, if you look, how many African countries have access to the Atlantic Ocean with the wealth that is there? It starts from Morocco to South Africa. And ku si nekk rek yaa ngi am loo xam ne rek mooy jagar sa dëkk. Senegal is drilling oil and gas. Mauritania the same thing. Morocco waxee noppi. Gambia lu ndaw li ñu am sax, Guinea-Bissau, nga dem all the way. Angola, they have about 1,700 kilometers all on the Atlantic Ocean, go all the way to South Africa. Whatever si ñun rek. So guess to the other side with South America. Right. How many countries benefit from the Atlantic Ocean? So to describe him properly, he was an ocean. And the nice thing about him, Dr. Karamo, whatever his left hand is doing, his right hand doesn't know. In terms of good, something good, you think that you are very close to him. Like I spoke to his daughter, yesterday we were having breakfast. I told him something that happened. He said, "Yeah, my dad never told me this." Wow. And he works with the daughter. It's very close to him. Because as a lawyer.
Correct.
Gambia. For the past 5 years,
Interesting.
So that was him. Whatever I tell you about him, he was working for humanity. He was a man of faith.
Spirituality. Yes, I've heard that too. Definitely.
Yeah. So anyway, I think I will allow you guys to come in, and then we can go forward.
Let me allow Pap Samba to come in. Pap
Samba. No, tough. What you said here, that's why I said I didn't know the guy. But just reading, like I said to Musa, is a big loss for the Gambia, because for somebody of his intellect and his capabilities to be lost by a country like ours is a big loss. But there was something that you said, especially during this time, election is coming, and you'll hear all this tribal nonsense all over the place. You mentioned something here, Banjul. Everybody who was at New Perseverance or at New Primate, you know, it was whether you are a Fuller or a Mandinko or whatever, everybody lived together, played together. Tribe was not an issue. And what we see now is like we see it festering from here to there. What do you think Gambians can learn from those periods to bring us back to sanity level, our sanity back to where we understand that, you know, what unites us is much greater than whatever anybody is using to divide us? Giving your experience, you working, growing up with this guy to the extent that you trusted him, not only because of you knew him, but because of his intellect, was able to work with him, even though if you look at people, they will, okay, they're all of lucky, so okay, wa banjul lucky, mungi joge sintet and all that stuff. What can we learn from those experiences to at least help us to navigate and develop our country without being divided?
Yeah, first, you know, I'm now coach. Everything that you do, you must look at the cause. What is the root cause of it? Why did we slide? What brought us here? And what brought us here into now people, you know, really pronouncing things on tribal lines or doing things on tribal lines? It's out of insecurity. Kuko wa danga insecure. Olulo sabo.
Correct.
Tribalism kuko si wear pour am dara or pour def dara danga olu saboba. Because you will not get, if you want to compete at the regional level even, you don't go anywhere and then you are given an opportunity because of the tribe you belong to. And that's the world that we are living in today. You don't go to like America where you are, where you guys are there now. Do you go anywhere and identify yourself as your ethnic tribe?
No.
You don't. And really, we are living in a world where we need to compete regionally, we need to compete sub-regionally, we need to compete globally. That's Africa Global for who I am and what I do. I don't go there because they see me as a Wolof. So they see me for what I can bring onto the table. So what brought us where we are today is mainly politics. And because people are just looking at this number of 2.5 million people, and this is where their interests are. This is where they can perform. Outside here, they cannot do anything. Anybody who pushes tribalism is because you are in a small country that is less than even what 2.5 million of what 400 million Africans or more. Yeah, about 400 million, is it? No, 1.2 billion
of Africa, the population of the African continent. Yes.
Yeah. So in Africa, West Africa, for example, has a population of over 400 million. Nigeria alone is about 230 million. So it's only 2.5 million. Exactly. Because insecure and you have your personal agenda. They don't even believe, and who go pronounced or who go deaf, you don't believe in uplifting your own people. You are doing it because of your personal interest.
Absolutely.
Because you think that if you use it, for example, mostly we hear it from politicians. You don't hear it from us business people. Man, I do business with everybody. What matters is, you know, corporate, what goes in and out. So those who use it are those who are conversing for votes, and they know that, okay, the votes they need to go to their constituents. And when they go there, they want to show them that, look, vote man, because Banjul la juge, man ma juge si yen. So it's out of selfish interest.
Absolutely.
So that is the reason why tribalism is not only here, but across Africa, because as you know, I operate everywhere in Africa. I deal with politicians. Yeah. Every time you see somebody pushing his agenda or her agenda based on tribe or ethnic background or whatever, it's because they are insecure, because they have an interest for themselves. So, lol monyu indifini, and then let's go back to history. Amon nafina. Kuneka, linga don doko bany, dara ayusi. For example, let's take religion. So many want cheap axi for hamne hamo for ken. ma fekk ay Christian nekk fële ay julit nekk fële li gën a likely mooy si julit ji lay dem.
Julit ñi ngay dem.
There's nothing wrong in that.
Nothing.
Waaw yow Pa Samba Jaw ak ki nga doon ak ñi nga xam fa ci foofu nga dem. But not si loo xam ne ñëpp a ko bokka. Gambia nag ñëpp a bokka liñ bokka. Su fekkee ne Moustapha Njie man ma bugg a maye li ma maye di ko joxe di ko maye ki ma dee laa ko may kenn mënu ci dara. So going back wala boo joxe a background rek. So seetee again the history of the Gambia when the colonialists left, what happened? It was the Banjulians very quickly who were actually the only electorate in the urban area. So you dem benga hamne, I'm sure you guys have learned, but just for the purpose of this, people from the protectorate, you know, ñu ñëw seen doom yaa ngi jànga doomi chief yi ñu fil ne waa Banjul ñoo fi nekk di def di dañu war a ñëw ñoom tamit. So very fast track, that was the way PPP was formed. PPP was called the People's Protectorate Party.
Absolutely.
So they saw the parties, they were in the urban area, occupying everything. Why not? We are the majority, so we should have part of it. So it happened. But then they managed it better.
Yes.
But you can go back, and actually, let me tell you again, Dr. Karabo Sonko has done a publication on tribalism. If you search, he has done a research, very detailed research, where he paid people to do a study on tribalism, and it's available. If you go to his LinkedIn page, you will see it there. And after that, he did a webinar. And in the webinar, I was there, if I remember, Peter Gomez was there, Dr. Ali Masala was there. I'm not getting for that, but it's there. So they made he didn't been a bari because he was very concerned about tribalism and the way the country was going. If you listen to his speech of 2017, he said it. Manko Shiashmo page is going viral. But what he was saying in 2017,
yes, still
you
valid.
know. So, but back to your question, right, Coach? Insecurity, personal interest.
Yep.
Tay suma doon sédale tay ben $1 million maam suma deal ma defa government suma fa taxawé diko paré sédo ay politician kenn duma wax né yow olof nga man sosé la au pôle la li ñu bolé moy naka lañu sédo yé xaliss bobu. So therefore anytime they use it is because they want to get the electorate to vote for them and they identify with them. Foko déga rek lool la na amul li amul la dañ la bëgg mo nax di masses pour ñom sen agenda ñu fulfill ko.
Yep. So the other question, Ma, because you talked about hearing about Dr. Karamo from you, and thank you very much for doing that, because some of us did not know him. He looked like somebody who was guided by integrity to where when I'm dealing with you, I'm dealing with you. You know, I cannot deal with you and then Musa Jeng de ham what I'm dealing because of, you know, you have that professionalism in him. What do you think is the best way to remember and celebrate his legacy or what he has done?
It's the promotion of knowledge at every level. You know, and talubela won hamga legi nakala ko dang oye my arfang because hamga tamit ñun sëriñ lañ ay doomi julit lañ legi la nga am ay secret yoy ut borom secret la yoy yob di ko wax ci télé borom secret la borom ku xóot la woon ci diine ak ci baatin daf ci xóotoon daf ci xuusoon lu baax di ko ut di ko sàkku Dr. Karamo mënuloo koo tënka you cannot just say lii la but for them rek like as you rightly said he's a man of integrity am na yoo xam ne du ko def te gis nga coach if you remember in my leadership academy integrity is one of the values that any leader should have. Integrity mooy jom nga am jom nga tuux am loo xam ne da nga ne du ma ko def jom ba naa def
yes
loolu moo tukki moo tumaranke and loolu la amoon moo ku ko nekk Karamo Sonko rek you will know that the guy is full of integrity and there's no way he will do X, Y, or Z. So yes, your question is describing him. It's difficult, but I know that one thing, he was a man of faith. Yim def dem bu ko wax yoyu mu ngi am dara jo xamne Mauritanie so demé do go nim am in Sintet. If you go to Sintet where we buried him yesterday, you know, he had a big mosque there. He has a big madrasa. In Khartoum, we were in Khartoum together and we had business interests there. in Khartoum, he had a place, and this I only knew after he passed, and I have been with him in Khartoum, du benegon du ñaari yoon. Ndeke dafa jënd benn land defar ko pour Senegalese ak Gambian students fa nekk ñu dëkk.
Wow.
So you know the people are just coming up lim def li la def yoo xam ne kenn du ko xam. So he's very difficult to describe who he was. He was a man of humility, very humble, you know. And I'll give you an example. Nga nit si li nga déggu sa lu nekk ba soo fi jógee sax noonu laa demee. Because he's well connected, he had some big people that he knew. His body was supposed to be flown by a private jet.
Wow.
All paid for, 100%. We have the receipts, everything. Everything. Why ku ham karamo ni mel so ko si bu ngana dugal dafa ne bul ma ci dugal.
Yes.
Xam nga xew ci coach. Play bi dafa jógee xam fan fly pour ñoo lutin pour ñu mëna lufin mu am bad strike.
Wow.
Te fay nañ xaalis bi yëpp ba pare duñu li ñu yim xaalis bi lan la amul fu gaay dama ut plane wax prix mënuñoo am ba dañ ko mujjee isi commercial like everybody else. That's Dr. Karamo Sonko.
Wow.
So bone, you know, because I'm not so ko xamee bu baax. Dr. Karamo actually he's an expert in mining, top notch global standard.
Wow.
Petroleum bi nga coow Gambia fii kenn gënu ko xam.
Wow.
Gold mining, I mean, you know, Sudan, you know, Mauritania, you know, he's mastered it. Look to direct. That's si kababal. Why not? There's saku knowledge. Lulu mo yinga wata janga. What na ikobe so na ndaw yi nañ saku ham. Rawanta bi fala neka. Then a time in 1998, I was in Addis Ababa, and I met some ladies there at a conference. You know, they came from Swaziland. You know, and so when I was talking to the ladies, you know, oh, you're Gambian, man, yes. Oh, do you know Dr. Karamo Sonko?
Wow.
I said, yes. No, we've never seen somebody as smart as him.
Yes,
He said a lecturer will come and lecture us, and then we are all struggling for the lecture. He gets up immediately, stand in front of the class and lectures us.
Yes, sir.
He was a genius.
Wow.
Very smart. So kunahari wa Kim Don la. Why that Talubela won? You know, recently he went to live in Mecca. Huh?
Wow.
Yes, he had a place in Mecca, you know, and your break that dinam is number one. Loko mundi wada liko tenkare moy dinam is number one.
Alhamdulillah, Tough. No wonder when he passed away, we said, wow, we definitely need to reach out to Tough to talk about this man. And for some of you guys that are asking about the IEC chairperson, yes, he's going to be next. But we thought, Gambia has lost someone that definitely, I'm sorry?
A giant.
A giant that we really need to talk about. But we will be back with Tough. We ain't done yet.
No deposit, flexible payment plans, and lots of discounts. Get your leave of admin today.
Coming back to that 2017 TAFCON, I still remember. I remember there was this talk about tribalism. And I remember getting up. I started out by saying, congratulations to Tough Construction. Hey, Musa, you are almost 10 years back. Pasako company is Tough Global. I don't know whether you remember that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I remember, yes.
The point that I was making was looking at other African countries like Nigeria, Sierra Leone, because I work with them here in the US, and the way they handle tribalism. The Igbos will do their own thing, the Yorubas will do their own thing, but when it comes to Gambia, we all do things together. So my point was, look, what we have, people exploiting tribalism for their own selfish end. They could care less. What do you say, based on your experience with other African countries, what they call tribalism and what we consider as being tribalism being usually exploited by politicians? Tough.
I think he's frozen there.
I think he's frozen there for a minute. So, Pasamba, I still Tough, you're frozen. I remember that TAFCON. I mean, there was a lot of talk, and this was 2017, just after the change. And we thought Gambia was supposed to leapfrog, create a new atmosphere. And hopefully, politicians will not even be exploiting our ethnic differences. Why Pasamba Bentay, as we get closer to 2026, I'm telling you, you go on Facebook, Domuna Wahdara, without our ethnic differences surfacing. Either accusing Pasamba Jau, you're nothing but a tribalist, Musa Jeng, you're a tribalist, or Kidu tribalist, or Ki's exploiting this, and we all heard about Sidinjai, you know, and it goes on and on. It just tells you that this thing will not go away.
No, it will not. But the thing is, I think that the only way those who are conscious must fight it with everything in their power, because it's not sustainable. And like I've said here, and mostly the people who do it are, for the most part, people who have nothing to offer. Because the person that you mentioned, tell me one thing that he can do, one thing that you can look at and say that this guy can survive on his own. There is nothing that he can do to survive in that country. Nothing. He doesn't have the intellect, Mamasla, Jangam Soriwood. He doesn't have the drive. He does not have the integrity. He does not have the discipline. He does not have the dignity. He has nothing, like nothing whatsoever. So there are two things that would work for him: Siboru and lose anything that is divisive. And this is why when you need somebody who would come for the purpose of getting something, call him. He would come. But that's the thing. So, like Taf said rightly, those who wallow in this tribal nonsense are people, for the most part, who has nothing to offer society. But why would you? Why? If you, let's say, if you're a politician, and the best thing that you can offer people, look at Gambians who are crying about electricity or lack of jobs or this thing. So, your best thing that you feel that you can offer them, to solve their problem is like, oh, Bulen Faleki, Mandikala, Bulen Faleki, Jola, Bulen Faleki. So that means that person has nothing whatsoever to offer people. And that is the sad thing. But those who are conscious and understand the games should also be upfront in fighting it every step of the way.
No, they are not fighting it, they're exploiting it.
Yeah. Because if there is one country that cannot afford division, is Gambia. We are so small of a country. We cannot survive it. We will not survive it.
So tough. You're in Ceylon, you're in Liberia, you're in Nigeria. I mean, you know Africa, in Kenya. I don't know whether you heard my last question or statement. How do you see their ethnic, supposedly tribalism compared to ours?
Okay, sorry. How much directly how sit the kabi mom jer mo hala ko lutaw ma lu ngeen lose on ma. Naka jumping like am kurang bu fay ak tala no like so mun lo wax this long without ñu won la sen bopa.
Oh yes.
Anyway, no, look, Musa, Africans, to be quite fair, African politicians use ethnic divide to be able to sit in power. But they get to a point where they look above ethnicity.
Yes.
And a good example today at every African and in our own area to look into is Aliko Dangote. Musa, Aliko Dangote, sumu morom la ñun mako magé some few months. Daf ma gëna dis le pose rek. Way mako mag. And Aliko Dangote today, what he has done, so Aliko Dangote, so go explain you don't understand. His refinery that he has built is the biggest in the world. So, not help Africa. This guy in Nigeria, he has built the biggest refinery in the world. And how much it offer? The next biggest refinery in the world, he's 50% bigger than them.
Wow.
That gives you the size. And you know what he's doing now? He is now going to handle electricity. The capacity of the demand for Nigeria is 5,000 megawatts. Guess what he's building? He's building 20,000 megawatts. Because he says, in order to industrialize, you need affordable and accessible power.
Absolutely.
So he has solved actually foreign exchange in Nigeria, the problem. Because he ordered fuel bobu. But Munko export. He exports jet fuel and petrol to the US. Do you believe that?
Wow. That is huge.
He buys, yes, he's huge. And now he's repeating these refineries. There's one to be built that will be shared between Tanzania, I think Uganda, and Zambia. He's going regional. His fertilizer plant, he's building a big one in Ethiopia. Just to tell you this, go on. After ethnicity, what is important.
Yeah.
So ñun fii nii one thing comme li nga wax maa ngi déggoon ko ji wa affaire dëkk bi ak tuuti waayam gis nga ku fi nekk di xalaat affaire yi tribalisme yéen yi naa la waxal li Njaga Mbay waxoon xam nga fu ma jara olofaral la cooli ci bundi teel bi ñu amut baag la cooli ci bundi teen bi ñu amut baag la and Gambia and just being futuristic now su ñootuwul xam nga dañoo dal ñi am baag dañoo yóbbu seen baag dem duy ndox mi feneen and the Gambia is the loser.
Yep.
We need to all be conscious of this. And absolutely. I will tell you, with due modesty, like for example, today, what we are doing at Tough Africa Global, we are the biggest in the whole of West Africa, even in Nigeria.
Wow.
And if man Mustafa Njai ko have left school as a carpenter, can after all these years can be there at this level. Any Gambian can do it. But that is if we ignore these minute, unnecessary issues. If you're looking at the barometer, you are going below zero, so it's minus. You are not adding any value, and that's what this country is where it's heading. Even so, Kumeli, how many affair kini what's the guy's name? Jallow. Have you heard him recently?
Yes.
The guy has been forced. The guy has been forced now to be an advocate. He's going out and talking about his challenges. Kuneka, you might forget a Jallow can get in Coberal Lahore, but we want to our DNA, who we are as Gambians, and we need to change. Not more the bottom line.
Yeah.
Jallow, you play for Nanity Barola. Why want to go man? You didn't have time here, Jame. The guy applied to build a port in Mandinari. Up to now, he's not been given a license. In 2019. So really, affaire bi Musa, lidu affaire ethnicity.
It's not.
I have been to 37 African countries.
Yes.
And I have met presidents, I have met governors, I have met ordinary people everywhere. Deka bu nekk da nga am logico. Dafa naxare wax waaye ñun dëgg ngeen bala man ak waaye ñun nag ñun añaan ba ñu yaa. Loolu mooy dëgg xam nga yéen when we are in this platform dañu war a wax yéen dëgg yi we should say the truth and you go address. Affaire bi du saa génne man when they say something about Mustafa Njie being Wolof lele it's not about Mustafa Njie de. Beneen Keba Fatis was su amoon ñu ko they'll bring him down.
I believe
they are doing it to Jallow. Jallow, loolu la wax karak dama mer everybody saw my tribute to him.
Yes.
You know, wow. I mean, and the guy, you have to give it to him. This is somebody, if he is supported, you will have another Aliko Gadankote in this country. Forget about who is, Fanla Joge, whatever, Pirim Param. Mane, you almost I'm 70. Muska de gamen bu am gal bu am 14,000 tons. Muska ko dek.
No.
Huh?
No.
Okay, we have to support our own.
Why not? Kaima Mela nak mani chilima dega. Demba, we had at my Savannah event hall, we had the Sierra Leoneans, they had a graduation.
Yeah.
Tons of them. And we were just sitting and chatting away. And they say, oh, so where are you from? So I'm from Gambia. Say, oh, you know Mustafa Njie? Bro. And all of them were talking about Mustafa Njie, what you were doing in Sierra Leone. As a Gambian, what I felt was just, I don't even need to explain myself. Here you have guys talking about the first person, the name they mentioned was Mustafa Njie. And they're telling me about Tough City, beautiful homes, Gaine, the security. And I just thought about it. I'm like, Tough, you need to come to Atlanta and talk to these Salone brothers. Because
I think he has a talk coming up, though.
And the Liberians, they are talking about you.
But Musa, let me just tell you, there's a reason for it. I'm going, you know, for me, I'm very active on social media, but it's not by accident, huh? I went to study social media and digital marketing, and I manage my page. Nobody, people think that I have young people who are doing, I edit, I manage, I post, I understand the algorithms. Mo ame adina si. West, Nanjangi. You know, 3 years ago, I went to Dubai, I sat on the desk because I understood the power of social media. Let me give you an example. When I went to Liberia, in 4 days, my Facebook page grew by 45,000. And then we did all our survey, we understood our clients, they know what they want, just people like tutirek. But let me tell you now, for example, you said Sierra Leone. Tonight I'm going to Rabat. Because there's the Shelter Africa meeting there, and we're trying to forge a partnership for my continental business. But from there, I'm going to Sierra Leone. They have a Sierra Leone Diaspora Investment Conference, and I am the guest speaker.
Wow.
Investment forum. Capital. That's what they are doing.
And you know what, full Douglas? Sorry, they full Diaspora Investment Forum.
Yeah.
Musa, do you know that the fourth quarter of the year, the diasporas in remittances have already sent over $18 billion, which is about $250 million. And by the end of the 3 year we would have sent over $1 billion as remit. And that is just what they are capturing from the formal sector. Like you're saying, Pul just reiterate the importance of not people just sending this thing. But why can't we do like they're doing investment where people with their capacities and all these things can come and say, you know what, we can invest in this and that. Why, anyway, sorry for
our main guest, of course, has just joined us. But again,
I wanted to give him an opportunity because he has a thought that is coming up.
Yes, in fact, I'm not done yet. I have a question though, because one of you talking about Dr. Koromo, you said if we were to have somebody like Dr. Koromo as a president, it could make all the difference. Can you obviously this is something that's not going to happen, but what does he have that we need for what you would consider as the ideal person to lead the Gambia, like a Dr. Koromo Sonko? Because I heard you said that before.
Yes. Musa, and this is not only the globe, the world. Yen fi ngeen nekk noonu waaji fa nekk. Moo fi taxal dëkk doxal. Waaw, ba pare Africa for them, no politics. Dafa mel ni Miss World pageant. Is Miss World the most beautiful lady in the world?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. But it's the lady who's daring enough to strip in front of the crowd and cameras be on her. Wearing swimwear. Same thing in politics. It's the reality. The best of leaders will never go into politics. So how many and he's had it before quite a number of times. He's been trying to push into politics. And we discuss these things. Why, for who he is, what it takes to be political, and again, Musa, we all know this. Coach, we know that in politics, there is no permanent friend or enemy. There's permanent interest.
Yes.
So a man of value and integrity. Because man, we were together, since 50-something years ago. I cannot talk him because of interest.
Definitely.
The real politicians, say the 100 years are in court, election interest away. So that answers your point. Let's stop theorizing. Those who go into politics because they believe, and that's what they believe in, and that's the way they will operate. In some cases, we can take so many examples. Guys, who would have thought Jumai Aksonko didn't have a problem? But that's politics for you.
Yes.
We saw it in Burkina Faso. With Blaise Compaoré and Sankara. So we saw it with Senghor and Mamadou Dia.
Yes.
So scientifically, I'm not a political scientist, but those who are into political science will tell you that this is the reality. So just to answer your point, it's always good to make reference. So those of us Alaji Mustafa, okay, what we'll do? You go and run for president. I'll be your special advisor. Let's be the other way around. You go and run me, I'll be your advisor. But really, you will never, people like us, I'm sure Wanako's platform B, we will never see us in politics. But we have a role to play. Today, what Aliko Dangote is doing, in Africa is bigger than even countries. So Mustafa Njai, as an individual, my specialty is housing. Lola Musa Hambimane ka school bentay. Man overyear la loolu la capitalize develop suma bo hobe don kima don. And my goal, my ultimate goal is really to go public in my business. Moko yalla may fan buguda loolu lay liggéey. Because I want to see like Aliko Dangote today. I don't know whether you guys quickly because this is very important. Do you know Aliko Dangote is listing 10% of his business in September?
Wow.
I'm going to advise who I make a bravo am latelen ko gaw ngeen dugal ko fa. You will never go wrong.
Why do ko wane ko mom borom 5000 megawatts mu may ñun nga xamne 110 megawatts rek lañ ñu dimbal ñu
faju len deka am ga nak fa melni nga ñaw kat buy ñaw mbassé yu es nga ko kay garal ma suma tubey ji no xam nga no this is but look Musa tell you just further come man léegi gis ku ñëw xam bu yaaga ay taf mané dama sama benn kër gi nga defal mako mané ko he man xamatu mané ka lañu sampé sax you know man sama ko joxé sa bi bi da boy gëna yaaga you know because look people move on so therefore a good lesson to understand in all this as you just said xam nga ya def lolu properly UAE are small amun that much oil comme Dubai but today what happened look at what they are doing nit da nga xam lan moy sa strength you do a SWOT analysis leadership strength leadership weakness these are the opportunities these are the threats so therefore I will use my strength you know address my weaknesses look for opportunities and avoid the threats de ka bu am good leadership lo nga wara def so touté Rwanda def nañ ko same we saw Rwanda what have they done now look at Rwanda in 1994 genocide hit them ana fi ñeka ñun fi ñeka again what you do it's about leadership.
No, I thank you. I just wanted to talk about your tour. And one thing I'm glad about Netobi, this now Washington DC listed, Maryland, Washington DC, this one for Atlanta. So because you have to list the important places first.
So the water def tour, ñëwut Atlanta, Georgia, ñëwut fi ray bi téné. That is going to cost him business-wise.
Listen.
Okay, let me tell you again. You guys are making a big mistake. And let me tell you, this is scientific. Hanga musna Atlanta du benen la fa ñoo du ñaari yoon. Ñoo na fa time ki na ki ndaw place am la ko defé won. I remember. But let me tell you why. Okay, first because we are partnering with the Sierra Leone Diaspora Investment Conference. And this is the 4th year they are doing it. And it's in Silver Spring. But my tour now leads me to Minnesota and to Pennsylvania. So you will ask me a question, why did you choose them? When I launched the survey online on my pages, because I'm targeting Liberians, you know, over 80% of Liberians are living in Minnesota.
Minnesota, yep.
Wow. And then you have another percentage in Pennsylvania. And obviously then it's So really look, it's a game of numbers. And we are no longer Gambian as in business. We are corporate. So we look where the numbers are. Today, I mean, today we have more. And this is the reality. I wish today only less than 5% of our business is in the Gambia.
No.
95% of our business is outside of the country. And it's obvious because of the size. Why not luma am? Flame ko genal?
Moy deug.
Suma demé liggéey, suma amé xaliss Nigeria, dama ko dé indi fi.
Moy deug.
So really, but I think strategically there's nothing wrong in doing that because we are small in size. If you have Pasamba Jaw who can do some nice outfit comme biga sol ni, nga mëna ñaw. My friend tangal Nigerian si de. So ko amé Gambia do ciapté de.
Do ciapté mom.
Wa nga diga. No wanga diga. Boda so tagete. Moda so tagete Atlanta rek do chapte fo nga tagete DC fa la ray ni
mané ñun we in business here in Atlanta suma yakaron Gambien yi tejna suma buntu yi bu yag we don't have the numbers why man ben wax rek mo ci jaxal nga ne ko ñom giseñ nga nan ko gar so ñun ñoy
ko garal di ko la garal ko tié sam machine di ñaw di gar way nak mun nga fexé nak ben nak di commencer di bala nga instruct ngay gar di yobul ñu la gar la nga yobbu mbasseñ fi mbasseñ yi nekka a good example am ñu waxtaan day wara ben programme ñu wax
no tough you have to come back we have to talk about Senegalese politics We have to talk about Gambian politics because we are 6 months before the elections. Dafa nekk a special program. This was definitely about Dr. Karamo. And yalla mi nga xamne dara tewu ko yalla nako yalla xare aljana.
Amin ya rabbi.
I am suuf sedd ci ko am. And I believe, thank you very, very, very much. But again, I have to tell my salon brothers, they say Mustafa Njai. So you gotta come to Atlanta now. We gotta do something for my salon.
Musa, xam nga man nak ñun suñ family. Atlanta mo suñ kër fa lañ dëkk. So na seeti xale yi, dama seen kër fa fi ne tamay xalifa. So dina ñëw. Inshallah.
We do something.
I really want to thank the family of Karamo Sonko ñoom Sarian. And external ma lii nitu moom. Xam nga Musa, comme li ñoo wax rek ku si nekk suñ demee ñu ne banta lu yàgg si kaw biir géej ju tax mu nekk jësit
mooy dëgg.
te nit ku nekk nag am na loo xam ne mbooti famille la. Karamo dafa fu ma àggoon na moom loolu duma ko wax fii nii. waaye famille bi ñoo fi des pour mun koo implement.
Absolutely.
loolu la ma ne see gërëm. suma sëriñ sëñ Abdou Aziz Al Amin mooy suma mentor suma spiritual father lu nekk mu ne. jërëjëf baat bu tuuti la waaye ku deful dara du ko dégga.
muy dëgg.
So therefore dama bugga képp ku Karamo Sonko bokkal and let me say this in English. I want to say a big thank you. They gave me all the honor to take a decision at every level. I have to say thank you. I have to thank them because we all know the Gambia what it's like. When I arrived in Sintet, or since he passed, you know, they would have been coming in. No, we have to do the Kabudo will do this. No, every single decision about Karamo Sonko, they made me take a decision, or they will confer with me before then. So please, sorry, I'm saying why not. Wow, Lee. Dekla Dela, this is the last time that we were Teranga Funekal de Fenye.
Thank you very much.
Wow, so that I want to extend it to him. I am really obliged. I am laleng suma hol serena buñu won li ci Karamo, but man la wax jërëjëf fum commencé amul fum em. And again,
appreciate you. We'll definitely bring you back.
Thank you, Taf.
Inshallah. Thank you so much.
And I look forward to seeing you in Silver Spring when you come.
Inshallah, I'll give you a bell. We'll get together.
Thank
Inshallah.
you.
Thank you so much.
That was a good one. So now we're gonna go on to the main, what I would call, people have already started asking, hey, is the IEC deputy chair coming? But before that, obviously, where we at? Hold on here for a minute. This is a public announcement. July 4th, 2026. The July 4th reunion has always played a pivotal role in bringing about change in the Gambia. It was back in 2003 that opposition parties came to the July 4th, what was dubbed at that time Meet the Diaspora Summit. The rest was history. In 2012, Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara came to the July 4th, launching his book called Kairoba. July 4th, 2026, another big event. Talib Ahmed Bensouda, a presidential aspirant, is heading to the July 4th for what is dubbed as a listening engagement tour with the diaspora. This is happening July 3rd on Friday, starting at 5 p.m. at the Savannah Event Hall. Start buying your tickets and come to Atlanta for what is called an engagement and a listening tour with Talib Ahmed Bensouda. Looking forward to having you in Atlanta. It's a weekend with family, soccer games, festivals, you name it. But the header for this year is having Talib Ahmed Bensouda, a listening engagement tour, a town hall at the Savannah Event Hall. Looking forward to seeing you guys in Atlanta, Georgia. Yep, Pop Samba. Where am I? Let me get this stuff. I know you. Yang yengal bopa dili. Pop Samba, ba yangi prel affaire bi kay? Yangi mute.
Mane, small preoccupation from there my World Cup ticket because I'm going to put them Satan in Norway and Senegal. You know, why these capitalists are trying to kill us. But
thank you. Welcome, Alaji Cherno Jallow. Welcome to the 40 people by the people chair. It's good seeing you. You're looking good.
Hello, Mosi Angmadega.
Mangladega, Nyungladega Bubasa.
You guys are muted. Degumalende.
Nyungladega nak ñun.
Nyungladega.
Okay, hey, coach, pasamba.
Jerejef.
Ah, suma raka yi. Naka nga def nak?
Ni rek suma bangi naka job bi yerang si job metti de.
Wow, I'm honored and humbled to be part of this forum actually.
Well, we are glad to have you. And
no, in fact, Musa I invited about 2 weeks ago. Why if I'm on and last Sunday I had to go to Benin to attend a book launch of a former UN colleague.
Well, we are glad to have you, and I think at the right time. But I just wanted to start by asking.
Damabuga, I just want to make sure he's here.
Go ahead.
Can
you hear Mos?
Can you hear me?
No, Deguma Mos, you're right.
Oh, this is wonderful. I love this. Yeah.
Yo, like why Deguma Mos?
You don't even have to hear Mos. Mos is okay because Mos.
No, most my football team bilang ekon Gambia High School, so we're not go dega.
So right
after one.
I don't know why he's not hearing me, Pasamba.
Oh, okay. So what I wanted to ask, a lot of people hear about the IEC,
yes.
But I don't think a lot of people, they just know IEC, Conte votes, announce this thing. Can you just give us an idea, like to the layperson who may just hear the Independent Electoral Commission, may not understand what it is. What is the role of the Independent Electoral Commission in the Gambia?
No, thank you very much, Pasamba. Role of the Independent Electoral Commission, duty election rek. Hanga so whole constitution, binga whole elections agbi referendum tamit bokanaki. Any referendum, these statutory elections, presidential, national assembly, local government elections, municipal elections, and even by-elections ayoyo. They support Yemen institutions also to organize their internal elections. So then could have. Why tamit beyond that? The elections have a process you could jito. Moi a voter registration, the matching process, the verification process, and the adjudication, and also to monitor the implementations of the relevant provisions of the Elections Act. So you bokana ki do elections reg lim omba dafa bari torop.
Okay. So I just want to start with the elephant in the room. UMC. They came to you guys, you send them back home and said, you know what, you need to correct things.
Pasamba, do UMC reckon your own? In fact, do UMC is Unite. Unite, that is the name of the aspiring political party that has submitted its registration documents. Actually, Unite Lawon, GLP, the Gambian Labour Party, the National Democratic Alliance, and the AIP, all-inclusive political party. Among the political party, you resubmit. They decided, that party decided to withdraw. You them def ay maja ñeneen ñi ñu ci yeneen processes why as at now we have 4 political parties ñoo xam ne ñoom la nga waxoon ñu resubmit line why Unite ñoo njëkk a resubmit te ñu ngay work on seen documents yi we have been engaging them seen leadership bi in a very constructive and fruitful way and the process is on so li ma dee jaaxal ci gars yi mooy ne dañ ma dee dégg léegi waaye bu leen waste seen time ay si duñ leen register lii man fan lañ ko wéer sax ñoom dégluwuñ ñu ñun ñuy referee bi ñuy déglu ñeneen ñi leen a wax ne non bu leen waste seen time duñ leen register no we don't have any interest pa Samba Musa ñun suñu liggéey moom mooy ne we have to do due diligence xam nga yëfi registration of parties yi nii dañ ci war a bàyyi xel bu baax because xam nga there are some legal and procedural requirements te ëllëg suñ fi jógeewut mun nañoo am ñu summon yooyu leen ne we need to have these documents yooyu leen parliament or any commissioner yooyu leen yooyu yëpp dañ ci dee bàyyi xel you make sure ne li ñoo def daal ñu ko is in consonance with the legal and procedural requirements as spelled out in the act loolu la rek why amuñ benn interest pour disenfranchise any aspiring political party or aspiring political actor in this country. They are legal avenues. And we contravene the law, they can go to court. Why we are in engagement constant with these people, especially United, they know where we stand. And details because a commissioner, we subscribe to 3 oaths. One is secrecy, the other is the oath of office, and the other is the oath of allegiance. And the allegiance is to the republic and not to any individual or political party. So, Laurent Lawone, some core principles of transparency, integrity, and accountability. Mom is at the core of everything that we do. And in addition to that, in addition to these 3 core principles, compliance, inclusivity, compliance with the law, and inclusivity to make sure that nobody is disenfranchised. So these are the core principles guiding the work of the IEC. And at the right time, people will be informed of the outcome of this review process. What from Nekani, Unite and then and then we'll move on to the others, GLP, NDP, AIP, That is where we stand.
So Mos, can you? Oh, okay. But so the other question is: so do we have a timeline as to, especially with the Unite one, because it looks like that's the first one. Can you hear Mos now?
I understand your anxiety,
I guess,
and I understand your lifting of the leadership of Unite, and we kept on repeating it to them. We have our own timeline. What people don't appreciate, we just out of this process of voter registration. Voter registration for legal timelines. For the marching process, the adjudication process, the publication of the list, and then the eventually the process of appeals, omissions for objections, that would usher in the setting of eventually of revising courts to allow public to scrutinize and eventually, if they have any problems, to file in objections or appeals, so that the revising court would be put in place. Because it is on the basis of these appeals and objections and so therefore I'm taking legal timeline. While that notwithstanding, we have already started the process of reviewing. We have done what we call the digital verification. We had done the social. Why we are doing again the social verification, just to make sure that everything is in order, and very soon it would be, all these things would be addressed and would be the things of the past. There are no timelines, just to respond directly to your question. It is being done. This is a process of due diligence, and I can tell you it would be done in good time for any of these parties to be able to participate in the political process fully.
So, Chair, can you hear me again?
Can you hear Musa?
Musa Musa dafa disappear his screen bi yow rek la gis.
Okay, he's back maybe, but let me.
I don't know what's happening. Papsama, can you hear me?
I can hear you. So that Momo drop or Yako drop?
Marco drop to see for him to come back, and I don't know. I don't know.
Well, your boy Fatty. I'm going to boy Fatty. They are so scared of any new organization. No, believe me, boy Fatty. I'm not the one to jump ship. I've never jumped ship in my life. I've been very consistent. I'm a member of the People's Democratic Organization for Independence and Socialism, and I've not seen any other political party that comes close to what DOI is going to offer in terms of integrity, policies, and programs, including your failed party, NPP, which has really led our country into unimaginable darkness. But anyway, can you send him a message so that he will come back, Moose? But I just have to ask the question. Is Nakala Chura? It's been something sitting there. So before Moose jump all over it, but let me just get it out of the way so that we can talk about other substantial issues. So don't worry, boyfriend. It's a preemptive one, so to just so that most can focus on other issues.
No. You
cannot even help yourself.
No, seriously, because I know that you will ask it. Okay, let's try again.
Mr. Jallow. Say Gambia.
Chair. Hello? Yeah. No, try a lot. Try a lot said. If not, we'll put it on WhatsApp. But try a lot. Yo, ban browser nga use me to get on.
Most, can you mute? Because you are on the thing. So, anyway, guys, my gig is staying at was Senegal from there, and I think, what's his name? Sonko Agayami. But I was asking myself this question. If you look at Senegal, you see a country that is even trying to get somewhere. You see even the composition of their government or whatever, the engagement of citizens and all that stuff. And to Gambians who are just so focused on this Senegalese thing, I'm like, can we just focus on our own and see what we need to do right? Because I think that definitely, yeah, Senegal is interesting. Well, I think that we have things to worry about. Yes.
So Mune is having problems with the.
So just put it on WhatsApp.
So we're gonna go. One hour to come try it. Why don't we go with the WhatsApp?
Yeah, most I wanted to take this opportunity.
Try it one more time, the chair. Then we can get back to the.
Because we set time to
No, you swing time yep yola. Bilai. You can't waste your swing time. Just
asking me to.
It's asking you to
customize the start page. I don't know.
No, but one browser I use.
Can you mute?
Yeah, sorry.
Like if you fana mom. No, Ma'am Lisa, on behalf of for the people by the people, we want to wish you a very, 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 very happy birthday. I know your birthday was yesterday. You are a wonderful citizen of the country who stands up for the people and does everything in support of the change that we need, in that country, and we really, really, really appreciate you. I'm not from Neka yo ya Musa Jeng yena hala boka mbus from Nekani. I said I just have to wish you a very, very happy birthday on behalf of all of us here and for the people by the people. So, but coming back to the Senegal thing, yes, it is an interesting thing. But I think the problem that we have in the Gambia.
Okay, we're gonna get back to the Senegal thing.
No, so, I'm just trying to fill the void.
No, you're doing a great job of that.
Are you not going to wish Ma'am Lisa a happy birthday, most?
Can see.
Ma'am Lisa.
But anyway, Pasamba, we're gonna do the WhatsApp.
Oh, okay.
Che can hear us. So Che, it looks like Pasamba was trying to monopolize the conversation. Hamune Nunyo Boka Swing Gambia High, Che Foster House, Musajeng Crowder House, you name it. This was when Gambia High.
Why Pasamba that the farm history, the African Center for
Democracy and Human Rights Studies. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Che, bul egati mahamam fini. Huh? Why, Che, man, this is my question.
Yes.
Clearly, you have become one of
the
Independent Electoral Commission.
Wow.
Most people, if you ask them, they say, no, Che Mom Wajala. So, you are part of an organization that has a perception problem. Fairly or unfairly? I'm coming. It's a perception problem. Why do you think people believe that the Independent Electoral Commission is less than independent? Is it the history? After getting inside, knowing what you know, where do you think the problem lies?
I think Lincoln had a perception there. The perceptions can be true or false. But notwithstanding, perceptions always have an impact. We could be negative and we could be positive.
Mm-hmm.
This is a new leadership. And some focus, we have to rebuild trust and confidence. Because we are aware of all these perceptions, trust and confidence around this process. That is why we always say that process bi ñun moomuñ ko dañ ñu ko dénka pour ñu shepherd ko pour ñu manage ko pour yéen the Gambians political parties and the average Gambian citizenry, they are the owners of this process. Again, you could then referees like. So we have to reassure you, we are impartial arbiters. We are honest brokers. We owe some oath of allegiance is to the Republic and not to anybody else. But when we see the Republic, it says it all. So perception boobu loolu la ñu jëm in fact loolu tax ñu decide ne dañoo am léegi fu mu nekk nii with the new leadership a monthly stakeholders forum with all the political parties with all stakeholders civil society the press and partners pour ñu update leen regularly ci li ñoo def ba pare allow them the opportunity to raise questions if they have any issues on any grey matters or any concerns that they have that they can raise. In fact, we just had the second stakeholder meeting. It was on last week, and it went on very well. We provided them with an update of the supplementary registration voters, and we even told them, we came out openly there. In the process of the marking process, we detected that we had 24,058 double registration. And the law is very clear. And out of the so the commission is going bending over backwards to make sure that we try to reassure the Gambians that this is an impartial, independent electoral commission that is committed to delivering credible, transparent, free and fair elections that are also inclusive, and that will reflect the real will of the Gambian people. Both of us may sing gel, then you want to deliver some mandate without fear or favor. But perhaps soy Al-Quran wala ki Bible ko tek. Xam nga lolu dis la. Lolu kenn du ko caaxaane. Ba pare xam nga ñun we are here for a while. Luñ fi def rek dina wax ñu ko gis every day. Commission say yooyu leen. So ñun we want to leave a legacy. Boo xam ne suñ doom yi suñ ñeneen mbokk yi they can walk their heads high. Xam ne seen papa wala seen nijaay lii la fi defoon yooyu liñ def yëpp ci yoon lañ ko teg. Ñun lu day teguut ci yoon and lu comply with the Elections Act, with the Constitution, and with all the court rulings relating to the election process. Ñun duñ ko def. So don't say. I can tell you this is a new commission leadership. Honestly.
So Chair. There is this issue that always come up. Back in 2021, if you look at the voter roll, the registered voters is almost 900,000, a little over that.
962,000.
962,000 registered voters.
Yes.
And then you guys have already registered this time around over 200,000 voters, right?
No, these are the raw data.
Well, Haral, that's where I'm going.
You have to have it a little closer so that we can hear you. No, it's not coming very clear sometimes.
Okay. So my question, Chair, is a country of 2.5 million, people are questioning, again, fairly or unfairly, how is it possible for us to have a voter roll of 1 million people, a country of less than 3 million? Is that realistic? What say you to that?
This process being living, voter registration we did this supplementary based on some living estimating them in consultation with GBOS and other relevant stakeholders, and based on the population growth rate. We took that into account. So we didn't fall short of the estimates and process was very open and transparent, and all this is supplementary voter registration. Voter registration, it has been that closely monitored and observed. Political party agents, civil society, and other human rights groups, they were all on the ground. And what we did was to tell them, our agents, and this is for the first time, Nelen, any agent any question about suspicion about anything, just be transparent, provide the details if they so request. Don't keep anything to yourself. And we give them all those details. They parade from the opening of the vote every day. Then your first living day and last living day and the last person registered. Every day. All the political party is working like Nalakova. So it was a very open process.
No. Man, question the open process. Somebody is saying I should address you by your real name, Alaji Cherno Jallow. Manelen Maki, we went way back. So I can always call him Alaji Cherno Jallow. But
Alaji is the pilgrim.
Of course. I know.
Exactly.
I know. But again, there are people, the reason why I'm talking about people questioning the IEC, people are questioning, let's even say, you guys did all the work you're supposed to do for this supplementary, but people are even questioning the raw 900,000 registered voters. Do you trust me? We actually do have 900,000 registered Gambians.
Why? Musa.
Well,
honestly, I can tell you, I was coming to that actually. You know, the registration process, the Farm A stages. You have the voter registration per se, and then you have what you call the matching, the adjudication and verification process, so as to identify double registrations, cases of double registrations, multiple registrations, and all these anomalies. And during the last elections, in the last registration process, it was around, if I go back to the figures, around 5,000 maximum ceiling living on in terms of double registration. System of flag.
Right.
And then there were allegations also that we registered people before the registration time, 8 o'clock, and after the close of registration. These are issues that were raised by political parties, and we met with some of the leadership of the major political parties to discuss, and we were able to address all those concerns individually about all those allegations. So you have the publication of the list. When you have a window of about 10 days for the publication and 14 days for the scrutiny, and for any registered voter or political party to go through the process of objection and appeal, and that would trigger the setting up of the revising court. But during the last, nobody, and nobody objected. Or so after the closure of that window, the register is deemed to be complete and to be populated by bona fide Gambians, because nobody went to court, nobody objected, and whatsoever, and it was duly signed by the magistrate, and so. That's the process. So process we have did them, because for the period of the revising court is about 2 months a year. Then they allow people to come, and even we minimize the fees to make sure that we encourage people to challenge anything whatsoever that they think on that voter, on that list that has been published provisionally, that is not inconsistent with the electoral laws, in underage, like underage people, minors, and non-Gambians. These are options, and even beyond the revising court, where the revising court rules against, you can appeal to the High Court, and there are process. Legal avenues. So nobody used those legal avenues, and who am I now to question something that had already been signed by a magistrate when following due process?
Absolutely, definitely. Pop Samba.
Yeah, Mr. Jallow.
Yes, sir.
You guys have found about 24,000 double registrations.
Yes.
Is there any way that the IEC can do an audit of the voter roll to make sure that we do not have such a thing in there right now? I know you guys are a new outfit, even though they are holdovers, were there. But is there a possibility, the same way that you guys were able to discover this double registration, that in the 900,000+ that has been already registered, that such a thing could happen? Is there any avenue that you guys can utilize to do an audit of the voter roll to make sure that those who are there are supposed to be there? Or is that something that cannot be done now after its publication?
Not, just no. Once that document is signed by the magistrate, is deemed to contain only all bona fide Gambians. And if you look at the Electoral Act, there is no way you can reopen that unless in the event of criminal proceedings at the level of the courts. The law is very clear on that. Actually, why? The matching process, verification process, we got a adjudication. We did that also during time, and now we're still ongoing. What we have is raw data from the field. The additional lifting add to that master register will only be known after we have completed all this process, allowing people to scrutinize after the posting, people who want to raise objections or issue appeals, etc., to do that. Going through the Independent Electoral Commission, because that time from the revising court, you just go directly to no. There are procedures. There are certain forms of Schedule 3. And then it is done at the level of the IEC, the electoral office concerned. If it is in Cardiff, the returning officer, and if it is in Janjabure, is the PRO for that area. The process is a procedure. So you need to understand. Why? Coming back to your question, something that has been signed and already by the magistrate at that time, no, definitely.
Now, Mr. Jallow, the other question that I want to ask, the IEC has a checkered past. We saw sometime last year or the year before that, there was this talk about some monies being deposited into private accounts of individuals. What lessons have you learned? You were not there then, you are there now. What lessons have you learned and what measures are you taking to make sure that those things are not repeated under your watch?
No, thank you very much, Pa. Why, but I was the one who led the IEC delegation to the FPAC, that is the Parliamentary Finance, Public and Accounts Committee, to discuss that issue, to address all those concerns that were in the audit report. Yeah, including this alleged siphoning of funds to the tune of 301 million. We provided all the requisite documents to the FPAC. And if the chairman of the FPAC is listening to me, Alhaji Estabo of the UDP, he can attest to that, and other members of the FPAC who were there. It was it was live stream, all this discussion. What we have learned from that, Moine, the IEC would not handle, come this election, even registration processes, cash, physical cash. That is why we have decided to consult financial institutions, on the ground, put game us yet if they can help us to be paying our workers, our agents, and all that stuff. And for the supplementary registration voters, we used UNA, and it worked very well on a pilot basis. For the elections, with their other listen, iWave, iUNA, and some banks, they have submitted proposals, and the commission will look at it actively because it is clear that perception of swindling or siphoning money. But those monies later on, they were paid into the accounts of the local party, of the principal registration officers and the returning officers for the different for the different regions. So that was what happened, and because you have to pay those people in real time on the ground, and at the time they thought that was the wisest thing to do. But we have realized, based on the recommendations of the audit process, that was in contravention to the provisions of the financial regulations and all that stuff. But this process, this is very important, more the recommendation paper, and you strive to implement them. And some of these recommendations that they came up with were very pertinent ones. We are required to account for public funds, because where public funds are involved, you cannot use the argument of being independent. You cannot account for them. So we have learned a lot from that, and now zero tolerance for the handling of physical cash for supplementary registration of voters and for elections. Even to have the party, what do I call it, some sort of a fund to be paying, taking care of certain incidental expenses. Has frowned on that. Impress, yeah. what impress. You do work out with this. Now we will be using financial institutions like Yona or Wave or any other one that the commission would decide eventually on to handle the finances. And some of the recommendations that came out of that also regarding the establishment of an independent internal audit unit, we have already implemented. We have already put that in place, having a legal, fully dedicated human resource division that is already in place, having a legal officer to help us deal with certain power in place. So it's a learning curve. And we have decided that when it comes to money, we are not going to handle money anywhere at the level of the commission when it comes of agency and for the police. All these things would be done to the financial institutions that would have been identified by the commission.
So Mr. Jallow, let's get back to Unite. We all know that elections is about momentum and it's about timing. I mean, the requirement for asking a party, because I've heard their leader, Talib Ahmed Bensouda, that when they first registered, actually, it was $1 million which they paid. They came back again when the law was changed to $2 million, and they went ahead and then they paid it. Ñoom def nañ seen warugal. They paid their money. Timing is important. Now, in terms of logistics, they don't have control over that. And this is where IEC comes in. So timing is not a question of whether they will be registered eventually, but people are saying that the timing of it already, it's definitely jeopardizing their chances for being very formidable come 2026. It's not a question of when, but people are saying, do your part so that the party can start taking their message directly to the Gambian people. What do you say to that?
Musa, the party we will register, definitely and comply with all the procedural and legal requirements. We don't have any interest in delaying, even for a second, the process of registering that party. You need to talk to the leadership of your party, Unite, and they will tell you, we've been engaged. Let me tell you, in spite of this oath of secrecy that I subscribed to, for the past 10 days, we've engaged with the leadership of Unite over 4 or 5 times. About 3 days ago. I can tell you. And they know exactly where we were. And we have reached a stage it's just a question of, we are working on it. So I'm going to go here details. We of secrecy. Why? I mean, this is not the time to discuss this because, while we don't have any interest when a party or a movement is in full compliance with all the requirements to delay the process for even 1 second. Well, so the technicians are doing their work, and it will come to the commission. The commission will sit and will decide, and then the certification process to register the party would be done.
Okay. The other issue is when someone becomes a leader of an entity, in this case is Joe Colley, he's getting all the bad rap. Like Aliu Momar Njai used to get all the bad rap. The guy is corrupt. So Joe Colley is getting a lot of flack. Even people that don't know him. Who is Joe Colley? You work with him. He's the lead of chairperson of the commission. Who is the guy? Is he being fairly treated by...
No. He's not being fairly treated. He's the most maligned public official, honestly speaking. Commission B, Joe, we work closely. The commission, we work as a team. Joe, Niku Ragaliala, Kugomiala. The Madanga talk, Madama Bro, Madama Dexia, a guy to Masaga, living in Yoland, they don't know the Amda family, Humming Masa, but somebody they you have the humming. Why, we have to be thick skinned. Why Joe is a very upright and I can tell you authoritatively.
Yes. Pasamba mom xamna Jokkoli bu baax, so I'm sure ne wana ma
and honestly speaking, yes, including other political actors, they know listen so you small way you know say you digga. Somebody came and apologized. Because lima forgot you lima lifin di malamiti du ben. Wow. Xam nga lolu wa non la mel nak xam nga so ne lolu la de wa rek. Mous xam nga ñun dañ mel ni referee football matches.
Correct.
So léegi sax ñu la xam dañoo ñëw fële di la dal kii sàcca rek yooyu nga foofu rek ñu ne la te dal offside bale mu ko bàyyi la le handball la yooyu dañ ko korom dañ ko jëndal. Nga jëndal yu doo mun a jëndal léegi si nit ki.
Definitely.
No. Léegi si conscience and integrity moo ko joxe. Te loolu xam naa ne yow am na ko. I can tell you that honestly speaking for free.
Thank you very much. Pop Samba.
Joe was my classmate from primary one to high school. But what you said about him, in fact, I was surprised with Nekote Labes, but boy, Kerchen, young Peter Gomez, if they would get down on it. So, but, now, Mr. Jallow, I live in the diaspora. And is he there, Mos?
Okay.
Yeah, I live in the diaspora, like Musa, like a whole bunch of us. I, together with 4 other people.
Like my kids also.
Yes. Man, 4 other people went to the Supreme Court of the Gambia and sued the IEC, the Ministry of Justice, and everybody we could sue to validate our rights as enshrined by the Constitution to vote. And if you look at the Elections Act, the one that is amended, even Jammeh's Election Act, Jammeh the dictator himself, recognized the rights of diasporas to vote. It has never been actualized. I don't believe there is anything in the Constitution that says that we cannot vote. Even when they try to amend the latest amendment, the Minister of Justice erroneously said we could not be registered, only to come back and said he was mistaken. We should be registered. Do you think the IEC is equipped to register Gambians in the diaspora to vote?
Well, Pasamba.
Yes.
When I in addition to some of the core principles of transparency, integrity, and accountability, I speak about compliance and inclusivity.
Yes.
Inclusivity concerns also the diaspora. Why we are implementers. We are not the listen of the law. Sugai listen legislation on that, and the relevant laws are there. We don't have a problem. We don't have a problem. We implement the law. We don't have anything for we cannot implement. So if the law provides for it, we can implement. And it is also tied to having a new constitution, because there was this issue of changing from the current National Party drums you use to ballot papers that would have facilitated a lot of things. But I can tell you, as a chair of the reform committee within the IEC, we are looking at various options, not for this cycle, to see how to enhance inclusivity and also the participation of all Gambians, including through the issue of funding of political parties, campaign financing. There are a lot of arrays of listening. We try to build, try to harness and leverage best practices that exist elsewhere to see how we can improve this process. Wow, definitely. But you have a point. Because the whole visa is forward-looking. So that already tells you that the issue of diaspora support voting is already, once the law is there and the constitution allows for it, we'll move forward with that. We are implementers.
Yes, you are implementers. And like you said, the role of the IEC is broad. Pretty much you are the referee, and you are the body that really oversees the operations of all political parties. And this is why when they have their congresses, you guys have to be there to ascertain that the voting was done in accordance with the party constitution and in accordance with the laws of the Gambia. Now, the Gambia is faced with an issue which festers every election year: tribalism. We've seen politicians who use that, which is divisive, And the constitution is very clear that no political party must or can be formed on the basis of tribe or sectionalism. You cannot do that. You cannot form a Christian party or a Mandinka party or a Wolof party and all these things. What is the role of the IEC in ensuring that those politicians who are registered officials of political parties, who engage in this tribal politics, are at least reprimanded? Do you guys have those powers? And if so, what are you doing to ensure that all election campaigns are done within the parameters that are set forth by the Constitution and the Elections Act?
No, thank you very much. The issue of hate speech, of fake news, disinformation, misinformation, these are major concerns for the IEC. Because at times we are also the target of such hate speech. And when you target the referee already, you're trying to weaken and then put the referee in a very difficult situation. And in so doing, you're already trying to weaken the whole process and lay the groundwork for eventual electoral contestation and even violence. So we are left responsible. That is why for the past 6-8 months, we've been engaged vigorously with the support of UNESCO, UNDP in some sort of training, sensitization involving political actors across the political divide, civil society actors, to try to sensitize them on the issue of hate speech. And I've addressed meetings, opening sessions of some of these training workshops, and I did emphasize that the importance of opinion, the role of opinion leaders, political actors, because if you look at the issue of insults, it's not only the political actors, it goes beyond that. And if you look at the National Human Rights Commission report, it even speaks to the role of opinion leaders and all that stuff in propagating such hate speech. This is an issue, and we are working with political parties, not only through these workshops, but also through the Inter-Party Committee to remind them of their responsibilities and obligations and to make sure that they act within the presence of the law. Yeah, when it comes to that.
Thank you. Father Mose.
Mr. Jallow, coming back to the mode of voting, like most people, they're saying that Gambia is the only country, just like during the Roman Empire, that has this mode of voting with these marbles. Clearly, I remember Ali Momar Njai talking about that they were seriously looking into switching to paper ballots. Now, you mentioned this committee of reform agenda. Where are you guys in regards to really seriously looking into switching from this instant way of voting that Pasamba touted highly at every turn? Water cans, I'm water cans in Janam Agric Science during the time of Christie. Today, Mr. Christie, Mr. Owusu. Maneko water cans yidal then am put tegelen board. What do you say to that, Mr. Jallow?
No, Lingawan is very interesting. This countries, you guys, you are a model. Send drums, you could change Puldara. Because this is the most transparent and risk-free process that you can ever have. Well, I'm not advantageous, I'm not disadvantageous. Because some of the logistic challenges in your answer in terms of organizing combined elections is because of the drops. So about 22 political parties, you know what drops, you presidential, national assembly elections, municipal elections, but it's impossible to say the longer time you can call it separate some electoral calendar. And the former chair was a strong advocate of switching to the ballot paper. And we owe it to him, actually, that we make sure that we work towards making sure that this is achieved. But is anchored also, that has to be backed by law. And, so the Constitution, the Electoral Act, they have to, once they provide for that, we are ready for that. Studies have been carried out internally, I can tell you. Sungai, they've been to some other countries, they've made some tours, and we are just impressing parents. They advocate, they lobby. Why the final decision doesn't rest with us? It is the lawmakers. Yes, it's unlike the issue of the attestations. We lobbied very hard for this to be scrapped. Up to the last minute, guys, the lawmakers decided otherwise, and that's it.
So attestation B, if I listen to you right, basically the IEC is not even crazy about it. So the ones that are pushing it are the politicians themselves. Am I quoting you correctly?
We have always said that the attestations could have been that is why so whole elections act attestation B. We came up with a regulation which was gazetted to try to tighten some of the gray areas and loopholes in the Elections Act. Because as a commission, we have the powers to regulate. Where the law is not very clear on certain issues, we have to regulate, which we did with the elections attestation for voter registration regulations 2026. So it was gazetted and so that helped us also to tighten the process, because so whole it gave powers to any alcalo or SAFO to attest for any person anywhere. What we did with attestation, these powers can only be conferred to the alcalo or SAFO of the village or district where the person was born or is resident. So they could narrow down. So in there, don't get attestation fee from Serekundanga, you can attest
Correct.
Because after Banyul, attestation, the law was very clear because people went to court. So it was said that Banyul, Makati, Georgetown, fee attestation. Yeah.
So, Mr. Jallow, there's another issue. And even here in the United States, they're dealing with it right now. This gerrymandering all over the place with our crazy president. We all witnessed what happened in Texas. But in the Gambia, too, we can see how obvious it is. You see constituencies that were created during the time of Jammeh to basically help him have majority in the National Assembly. And, I mean, we all see the population in Georgetown. There's the Janjambure constituency that people always talk about. You have Fonyi Jarol, Fonyi Bondali, Fonyi Kansala. You compare them with constituencies like Joshua. I mean, let me put it this way. Based on your reform agenda, how are you guys going to tackle this demarcation of constituencies?
Lisa, that is a very important point. It has been, these are issues that have been raised by various authorities, stakeholders during a consultative process with the chiefs, with the alcalos, with the civil society, with political actors, and especially when it comes to Combo South, But the problem is that during the supplementary registration process, though we draw boundaries, that can only be done during a general registration process. That would be 2031, because the registration process is generally every 10 years.
Right.
In between, you have the supplementary. So that would be looked at when at the appropriate moment. What as for the supplementary, it was raised, but we cannot do it. No problem. But we are aware. We are alive to that.
Top Samba.
So this is.
So, Mr. Jallow, coming back to the registration, Sibopa, because I think sometimes people, there is a serious misunderstanding of the powers of the IEC when it comes to registration of voters. Maybe just to help, so you educate each other here. Let's say Musa Jeng comes. Musa Jeng, man, I know he was born in Kungela. Senegal. And he came with legitimate documents attested by an alcalo, which proves through that attestation Musa Jeng is a Gambian. Does the IEC have any powers to reject such a registration?
No, the Elections Act is very clear. Any Gambian who comes with a valid, the key word here is valid document. Valid document, either it's a passport or an ID card or a birth certificate. For him to register. In fact, we should not interview the person. Where we have some suspicion about the validity of the document, we probe, we scrutinize, we try to ascertain that this is really a valid document. But normally, when you come with a valid document, and we don't suspect that you are on the age or anything whatsoever. No, we did have it. We give you the card. But the issue here also, agency for NECA, they have the right to be given all the details of that registrant claimant for eventually, if they want to go to court when the list is published, they can do so.
So to buttress that point, to just get, so the onus rests not on the IEC, but on the political parties or any citizen to use the revising courts to validate the validity of that person's registration. Am I right?
Yeah. Well, that is what you call the omission, the objections and appeal process. That is you can start right now. We're going to start that on the 7th with the publication of list. The list will be published from the 7th to the 16th, but there is an extra 5 days, that is 7th to the 21st, for any person wishing to object or to do so and come to the IEC of the regional office concerned to fill the relevant forms and to set in motion the process of setting up the revising court. If there are no objections or appeals, revising court there.
Okay. So, Mr. Vice Chair, they used to have the what do they call the party? The inter-party committee.
Golfer.
No, inter-party committee.
The inter-party committee is there.
And how effective and relevant do you think it is in dealing with internal party issues or cross-party issues in that country? Because I think that was the objective of. Yeah.
It is effective, but I think the standing, the pedestal, the level of engagement needs to be bolstered, because it was not like when you have other heavyweights, who were there regularly. Why? It is coming back. It is coming back, but they have an important role, because even when it comes to this double registration of voters, the legislation, the act is very clear. It's 24,000 people that we are talking about here, and some of them even registered more than twice. System of the flag. And Liganagara somewhere in a beyond, what we detected 1 or 2 cases of persons using the same birth certificate, in different areas, serial numbers. The same serial numbers. We detected that. But for those people, we will have to make sure that the law takes its course. But for the others, the commission will have to decide, because the last time in 2020 they were given amnesty, and because the problem also, you can double raise a qualification, but if you decide to disenfranchise 24,000 also, and when we had this the stakeholders for the political parties across the board, we are appealing to us just to try to exercise leniency and try to grant amnesty and make sure that the cases of double registration, the double register entries would be expunged from the calendar, and allow those concerned to have only one voter's card. But that is for the commission to decide. We're going to grant amnesty, or we're going to go into court.
Yeah, but most bad and yeah, this is the frustrating part. The reason my line of questioning is to also show the culpability of political parties in what they will complain about later. Because to me, anybody who engages in any fraudulent act, whether registering yourself twice, 3 times, or using the same birth certificates to register, that person must not only be deleted from the voter roll itself, but must be prosecuted. But if you have political parties who are coming and say, so leniency, maybe just delete them on this one, but register. So you are pretty much, in essence, encouraging this violation of the laws.
And that is the proposition of some of the members of the commission, that we have to set examples.
We have to.
Some of the why have got the challenge of 24,000 to prosecute Lentabit?
Well, but if it is evidence that they are double registered, we delete them altogether. You cannot benefit from, like in the United States here, I forgot the law. You cannot benefit from your crimes. If you're convicted, you cannot go and write a book about your conviction and make money from it. So you cannot try to milk the system, get caught, and still be rewarded with a voter's card to go and decide who can. I think they should, but anyway.
So
while the system is working, that we are capable of detecting any cases of attempted fraud. That is what we can get from this. And you can continue. We still with the process. We'll end by the 7th of July. and then the provisional list would be published from the 7th to the 16th, and the political parties or any Gambian, for that matter, would have the option of scrutinizing, and we will provide also political parties with hard drives of all the of the raw data, so that eventually, if they want to go to court, also they can, that would facilitate it. Process.
So Mr. Jallow, coming back to this 24,000 double voting, I mean, and most people are kind of registration, yeah. Most people are running away with it, basically saying, Lila Nyaronwa, Bobby IEC, Aviary guiding their Saturday. Now they're coming up with 24,000, people registering. Now, my question is, out of the 24,000, now, the level of transparency. Correct.
First stakeholders meeting, we remember technical errors. We came out openly.
Yes.
I told them that we made some errors in the programming of the computers, and the people who were supposed to be registered in April, the person registration office didn't check, and so we had to recall all those cards to make sure that they are rectified. You explain the calendar.
So looking at that 24,000 double registration, is it possible I registered in 2021, Kaurla Nekon, Suma voters card birirna, lack of information. Now I'm living in Bijilo, registration bank, supplementary registration, Monday I'm at Suma registration card. And I just went ahead and register. Is that possible? Is that the majority of double registration? Or do you think there are people who actually will register in Josuan and then turn around them register in Banjul Central?
I'm not cases I'm the double registrations. Here then triple registrations.
Wow.
There is criminal intent. Honestly speaking, no love guy.
Yes.
But double registration, we wouldn't explain, because when I was going round for KM, the Madan Ega, this listen, wow, someone registered. You know what they're coming for replacement. I'm going to problem. Now they're going to register. They can register. We have a fake send card for register, so they know to registration.
Correct.
So, they was not you ahead and you know your interview. So, like you need key, love better for your I'm a guy who can interview. You need to have that information.
Oh, you need to.
Because some affair. You don't want to know the law and interview. A lot of them know we scrutinize, we probe. We question to know that exactly, because it's all like you don't have. Because you don't have sensitization being deaf in spite of the vigorous. I'm not kidding. I'm going to fight the Kubori Johannes Koluli. When you only have was my card be the Ferreira, you later. The Panama Pro Layat, why if you go by home of a lay, you never got a set. What I'm setting you out, I'm not only kissing you. You're in the Thailand, you get the no fini. Wow, we know the lot today. No, then forget the money your register. Why you have seen the same marking, you could detect.
Right.
Well, cases you have the up. I'm not getting you have the big displays and to you. They can well and the consequences. But can I get from your papa? You know, the appeal. I was in the office. Because you won't learn the thing. They use different names, sir. You have that's why you register and get them come live in the
Aida. Wow. Yeah.
Well, you ever feel like a wise some system is very robust of them to identify you.
So man suma register Kaur, Lower Salum, Musa Jeng, and all of that, and then man Munyuat, and then them register Banjul Central, and they punch in my name. Will it be able to now? Of course, era of digitalization. Will it be able to pull it up and say, "Wait a minute"? Is that instantaneously or is it afterwards?
No. Afterwards, that would be the matching process, verification, identification process, like what they flag. Because the matching process, data is exported on a weekly basis.
Right.
So, matching process we start on a sourcing of matching process, they identify you. That's why we were able to come up with this figure, and it's still continuing. Wow, why from there can you do pass it all?
So
why so going to pay Musa ignorance of the law.
So Mr. Jallow, there are people who are saying, okay, Joe Colley, the head man, maybe his reputation matters a lot to him, and then you have the deputy chair. I mean, everybody would say, no, Chair Mom is a straight shooter. He's going to call it as he sees it. But there are people who are actually doing the heavy lifting, the technicians. They're the ones doing the matching. They're the ones doing the work. They're the ones doing the review. And Gambians are saying, you go to an immigration, director of immigration might be top-notch, honest. Why immigration officer 2010 passport? So basically, people are saying, within the IEC, and this is where they can be exploited. That's where the vulnerabilities. What do you say to that?
Musa, I can tell you authoritatively and knowing the database supervisor being at Timam, that is not possible. Well, because he the Yabomoko pull out, sir. I mean, we are in because as a commission, then they know verify everything. Because we have the final powers of and they provide some we have a team of dedicated officials. They are committed to what they're doing, and they strive to uphold these core values of the IEC. There is zero tolerance for any violation of non-compliance with those core values.
Yeah, so we have another round of questioning, Greg, and then we'll let you go. Definitely.
Go ahead,
I think this has been very, very, very helpful. Pop Samba.
So, Mr. Jallow, I'm not going to like a question. How many people do you have the data of how many people registered? How many registrations that you guys rejected? I know you detected double registration of over 24,000. But do you guys have a data of registration that were rejected based on lack of evidence or any other reason?
No, I'm not. So they register. You fill the claimant forms.
Yes.
So the key registration officer, he or she has discretion based on what you present for reject. We don't have a compilation of that, but everything is documented because they could feel you put in a rejection form. Yeah, you will do that breakdown later on. The process we will the publication because right now what we have is the breakdown of male, female, and we're going to expand it to gender and persons with disabilities.
So the other question, the key word in the Independent Electoral Commission is independent. Some of us remember during the PPP days, the supervising officer of the election used to be the Permanent Secretary Minister of Local Government and Land, something that Doi fought and went to the African Commission and all that. We have the Independent Electoral Commission. But there is a firm belief among Gambians that it is not as independent as it is supposed to be, that there is always executive interference in its work. Can you tell our viewers that the executive have never attempted to influence your work, and even if they were to attempt to do that, that you guys would withstand that?
Sam, I can tell you and tell Gambians as Deputy Chairman that we are operationally very independent. Our funding, budget is through the National Assemblies approved by it. These are public funds. While that does not impact on our operational independence, and no government officials, as far as I know, has attempted to interfere or dictate to us what we should do. And even if they were to do so, we would reject that. We would not. We would not. After 40 years of public service, no, they are not doing it and they will not attempt to do it. I can tell Gambians that. Lolo Manila perceptions matter. If they can be true or false. While it's important, more than trust the referee. If you start to question the credibility, integrity of the referee, then you are setting the stage for electoral contestations, chaos, violence, as I've seen in other countries that I worked in, like in CR, like in the DRC, and some other. The issue here, we should all be on the same level of information. Not that you introduce this forum, so that there are no loopholes, there are no gray areas, so that political parties and all these things will not even indulge in assumptions or speculations, because they would have received all the information, and that would have been coming from the horse's mouth, which is the IEC.
So the other question that I want to ask, you've talked about perception. And perception, of course, is not always reality. But at some point, if it dominates the people's thinking, it may be false reality. I don't know whether that is a correct phrase. What is the IEC doing to educate the citizens, to win their confidence, so that they would not, one, understand the work that you guys do, second, have trust in a system? Because let's understand this. The IEC, since its creation, have not had a good name. People have always looked at it with suspicious eyes. Now you are a new leadership. You're just joining them now. I know you. I can vouch for your credibility. But that doesn't mean that everybody else does. What are you guys doing to ensure that Gambians as a whole, you may not have 100% backing of the Gambian people, but at least that enough work is being done to sensitize the people on the credibility of the process and the credibility of the leadership, so as to gain the trust of the people? That way you will be a referee who, when the results are declared, people will know that, you know what, they were able to do everything that they were supposed to do according to the laws of the land.
No, that is very important. I'm going to start with, I will say that this commission, we have an open door policy. If you have any complaints, if you have any concerns, you don't even need to write. Political party leaders without any appointment, and we receive them and we address their concerns. That is one. At the informal level, they come. We call. We give our numbers to all of them. Call them. You will clarify. Like when we had this AI generated voters cards circulating everywhere. We're able to debunk that, and we are trying also to ramp up our communication system to make sure that we are proactive, and so that there is no room or avenue for assumption or speculation. We try to be more proactive, provide all the information, address concerns, and But it's the third thing, this forum that we've introduced, basically to constantly engage the political actors, the civil society actors, the partners, so that we share with them at every level of the process, the implementation of our operational plan, what we are doing. We give them all the information and allow them to raise all the questions that they want, so that we try to address them. And in addition to that, we have embarked on a vigorous sensitizing campaign, using all the various media outlets to explain the work of the IEC and to reassure the population that we mean business, that we really committed to making sure that we deliver peaceful, credible, inclusive, and transparent elections that would reflect the will of the Gambian people. In fact, when it comes to that, we are trying to digitalize our results transmission system. We are working on that, and the appropriate time we will give all the information regarding that. And we are coming out also with something, geographic information system, to do a mapping of all the polling centers, so that there would be no room for speculation as to anything untoward that the IEC is doing. That is what we are doing, and there are a lot of things that we're going to do.
Yeah, follow up to that. Back in 2021, Mr. Jallow, there are still people who believe that the elections were stolen. And their argument, obviously, is election night. The delay, and the delay. Here in the US, you don't have to wait for Joe Coley to read out the results. Yes, ultimately, IEC would be the one to confirm the results. But projections, always, the media gets involved. They can tell you, Georgetown Administrative Area, Musa Jeng, has won by 3,000 votes.
Yes.
Is there a possibility of something like that to happen? That the media would be out there calling results even before Joe Coley or Cherno Jallow going out on GRTS to call the results? Or is that has to be done the way we've been doing it for the past 20 years?
Well, You know, this IEC, we place an emphasis, premium on compliance with the law.
Mm-hmm.
And the law is very clear that the IEC is the, when it comes to the official results. That notwithstanding, the process is counting on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Party agents, all these people, it is done in a very open manner.
Yes.
And this is posted on the so I don't see, there may be delays here and there, but the results that come from the various levels, that these are the ones that are coming and announced by the chief returning, by the returning officer. For example, Carnifing, I would certify the results that will be sent to the chairman for and they will do the complete combination to have the results. No longer than me. Amudara looking up. People they do it's an on the spot counting. The ballot drums, they are open and sealed in the presence of party agents, and we showed them the ballot drums to ascertain that then they could fire the same thing called sealed to me. So yeah, the perception move. So. But we're drawing lessons from that to make sure that those undue delays do not reoccur.
My final question has something to do with most people are thinking that having, one election, first of all, from a financial standpoint, we're going to save a lot of money, mainly having the presidential and the National Assembly elections the same day. How do you see that happening in the future? Is that possible?
No, it is possible with reforms. No. Because the logistic challenges with the current system we have for combined elections with an affair, it's not possible. Well, because of the number of drums that you need and all that stuff to have those combined elections and the number of political parties. Right now we have 22, and we have still 4 on the chopping board, whose cases are being reviewed. So you have 20 and all that stuff. We will even run out of party colors. And symbols at one point in time to try to underscore the potential logistic challenges. But once we have the reforms when it comes to the relevant legal instruments, the law, well, that could be done. And it will be even cheaper.
Is there a deadline in regards to this party registration before election day? There have been rumors flying around. If you're not registered 6 months,
there is no deadline. There is no deadline. Somebody asked me the question on Kerfatu that it was March, but there is no deadline. There's no deadline.
Yeah, I have a question. I know we said this was the last lesson, just based on your answer that you gave. Mr. Jallow, we have about 25 registered parties. But we have parties...
22 money.
22. Not a money about. We have parties. By the time he is done...
Whose cases are being reviewed?
Yes.
So there's 22, and then you have how many cases?
4 more in the pipeline. So, but we have parties who've never presented a candidate at any elections. When presidential election come, they go and join a coalition. They do not even have functioning regional offices, which are requirements of political parties to function. But they would go and hide behind another party and use their offices. What measures can we take to make sure that, yes, it is your right to form a political party, but unless you can independently function as a political party, irrespective of whether you are in a coalition or not, that you'll be deregistered? Because it does not make sense to have a party that was registered from, let's say, 2014 or so to date. They've never contested in any elections. They don't have regional offices anywhere. When the IC is going on their tour, they will talk to a friendly party, they would allow them to use their offices. But do you think that is one way to curb this unnecessary number of political parties that we have, to make sure that at least at the end of the day, we'll have fully functional political parties and not parties that are just here waiting to latch onto anybody's potential winning in a coalition so that they would have somebody appointed in a government?
This is a thorny issue, and I don't think as vice chairman of the IEC, I can respond to that here. But what I can tell you, we've been trying to insist on compliance with the relevant provisions of the law. And for the some time ago, before we started this registration process, we embarked, when we were doing the assessment of registration centers, identification, we wrote to political parties, asking them to give us the addresses and the contact persons for their various regional offices. And there was a mixed response. The major political parties responded. They designated their focal points, and we were able to visit and inspect. And those people are in compliance. There are other parties that wrote to us saying that, okay, again, you may time, we have to put a house in order. Others didn't even bother to respond. And I did address that issue during the stakeholders forum. When a political party called out the IAC for not being accountable and all that, I told them, as much as we have responsibilities and obligations, political parties also you have responsibility. And you need to comply with certain relevant provisions. And we had, as a commission, we had even come up with recommendations to write to those political parties to ask them why they think they should not be suspended, and eventually, if they're not in compliance, to be registered in accordance as provided for by law. But again, here we're trying to weigh the issue of deregistering and also ensuring an inclusive process. But I know what you're talking about. But this is a very thorny issue. Political parties are meant to be formed to partake in political activities, and the way they partake in political activities is up to them to decide whether they want to go into alliance, coalition with other parties. That is not for the IEC to decide. It is for the political parties to decide. Our role is to ensure that we regulate the space, what that we call the political space, and to ensure that they are in compliance with the relevant provisions of the laws governing the activities of political parties. And you mentioned that actually, because I was the one who attended the Joint Congress to monitor the process and to make sure that everything was done in compliance with the constitution of the party. That is why when political parties also apply for registration, we review their constitutions to make sure that there are certain fundamental principles that are contained in that constitution. Those provisions are not at variance with certain core provisions of the Constitution or the Elections Act. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Definitely, Chair. Thank you very much. I mean, if you have any last word, a lot of people are listening. IEC Mom, anytime you talk about IEC, everyone has an opinion. Mr. Jallow.
Trust. You buy the new tal, the new has, the new malign, we are impartial, independent referees, and we are committed to delivering our mandate in a very impartial and independent manner and in accordance with the core principles of the IEC. I would appeal to Gambians, political actors, and to demonstrate responsibility, restraint, and circumspection in their deeds and utterances, bearing in mind that could engender certain situations which could be at variance with what we are trying to achieve, having an entrenched democratic process, that would be at variance with the consolidation of peace and democracy in our country. Thank you very much. So let us work together. Political actors, you are not enemies, you are adversaries. What differs more in essence strategies and agendas to work for the betterment of the Gambian people. So let us work together in partnership. We are the referees, you are important partners and stakeholders in this process, and we cannot do it without you. So thank
you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. And we'll try to bring your boss, Joe Coley, maybe one of these. Actually, he was here before in the past. Was it back? Yes, about a year or a couple of years ago. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I just want to reassure you that we have an open door policy. Anytime you need us, we are always ready. To enlighten, to explain what we are doing, and to make sure that there is clarity and there is no confusion.
Absolutely.
Very important.
Absolutely.
We are no longer building confidence in any process.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
No,
all right.
Yeah, most.
Again, Cherno Jallow of the Independent Electoral Commission. I mean, I like the guy. I mean, he's a straight shooter. Really. During the even Pasamba, behind the scenes, I've contacted him. I mean, whatever I say on this platform, behind the scenes, I'll do the same thing. And he always responds right away. And he tells you exactly how he sees it.
No, but you see, Musa, there is one thing that Gambians need to understand. You see, whatever problem we have in our electoral processes,
right,
it's not the making of the IEC.
Exactly.
But the making of the politicians.
Yes.
You look at the attestation.
Yes.
The IEC wanted attestation to be scrapped.
But
politicians went and said, no, we could not do that. Right. And where do you have a problem with voter registration? The attestation process. Yes. And this was why I asked that question, and it was deliberate. If somebody is born in Kungel, but was attested to as a Gambian, there is nothing that the IEC can do to say, you know what, and if you look at the act, you're not even supposed to interview somebody who comes with a valid document. This is the Elections Act. Go and read it. Yeah. If I come with a valid document, the IEC cannot interview me as if I am not a Gambian. Their obligation is to register me. Now, of course, the agents there can ask for that information and then challenge it at the revising courts. So Absolutely. This is the problem. Whatever problem that we have in our electoral process is the making of the politicians. And it's across the board. They go to the National Assembly, they pass these laws, and when we say they pass it, it's almost across party lines.
Yes, absolutely.
And then these laws will come back because of the IEC cannot act independent of the laws. They have to adhere to every provision in the act and in the constitution. That's absolutely. It. So this is the sad thing about our project. That's why we don't pay attention, Musa. Let's look at even the IEC itself. The former chairperson.
Yeah,
his term. I was singing it every single day here. Politicians were not interested in that. And it was a violation of the constitution.
Right.
To the extent where the Ministry of Justice realized that, hey, what this fool is talking about is right. And they say, okay, now we are going to extend your term, which was even an other violation of the constitution because they do not have the powers to extend that term. But the players, the major players, the politicians,
they were quiet about it.
They were quiet because it didn't matter. Now they would wait until election comes and then they want to make a big problem about the whole process. No, fix the problem. They have the powers to fix the problem. And the act itself, Musa, is not the constitution. It can be amended easily. All these things could have been amended. And they still, well, now 6 months, they cannot do it because it's almost July. You cannot change any more laws. But there was an act before them. So this is the issue. You know, we blame the IEC for a lot of things, but believe me, whatever they are doing, they're empowered by the politicians or their hands tied by the same politicians. And
but one thing that I know, the Gambia of today, it is going to be very challenging. And I'm sure the IEC, they're very conscious of that. But Pop Samba, hold on 1 second.
No deposit, flexible payment plans, and lots of discounts. Get your leave of admin today.
Okay.
Yeah, almost.
Right.
There were other issues that happened in the Gambia. Last week we could not come on, and we had the issue of corruption at the Gambia National Army.
Oh yeah,
leading to the resignation of the CDS. And Musa, there was something that I wrote, that there are so many Mamad Chams in the system.
Of course.
The problem that Mamad Cham had was somebody went and spilled the beans. But our government is replete with people who are transactional. They do not care about anything. And you know, Musa, what is sad about the Gambia? There was one lady, she's American Tanzanian, who called Gambians pretentious. You know, was married to a Gambian. And you know what? I think she's right. You see all these thieves that are running our country. They pray like there is no tomorrow. They would in fact stop doing their work to go for prayers. But corruption is something that they would do. And in fact, we have a culture of accepting corruption. You are expected to be corrupt. So foot amulo faida. Musa. And the sad thing about is more corruption. I see people, they talk about issues you have many. Let's say maybe Gorjigen, and all these things. Those affect the people that are engaged in it.
Yeah.
But when you mismanage the resources of the people, you are talking about mismanaging the livelihood of all Gambians, Musa, and that's what they do. And the Barrow government has demonstratively shown that they have no business. In fact, they have no interest in fighting corruption. And this is why when you ask Barrow or you ask Dr. Cisse or all these things, they will tell you, you know what though? Corruption is as old as Hamanaka. It's been here since the beginning of time. Musa, that's a cop-out. We have laws. But you know when Barrow gave the Gambian people the finger about corruption? When he decided to go to the National Assembly to have them amend the constitution dealing with commissions of inquiries so that he would now have the powers to pardon people who've been found wanting by commissions. And what did he do? He did not go to the to the TRRC. He was not interested in that. He went to the commission that was established purposely to deal with corruption, the Jane Commission, and said, you know what? Sabali was banned, but he'll be very useful for me.
Yes.
Sabali, you join my party? Leave the UDP, come to me. I would unban you right now, and you can be a useful tool for me. Njoguba, you were banned. I am very interested in Salum, the Salum area.
Yeah.
You come and join me. I will unban you. I will give you a job, and you will be a useful tool for me. And where are those people today?
Working with him.
Used by the commission of aiding and abetting Jammeh's corruption directly. But to Adama Barrow, all he cared about was how do I get re-elected?
Yes.
Let me get Sabali away from the UDP, not because he loves Sabali or anything. No.
Yeah.
Sabali would be a very useful tool for him. So I will get him. I don't care about the corruption that he was accused of or all that. That doesn't matter to me. Njoguba will be a useful tool for me. So let me get him. Today, Pura, which is supposed to be an organization of incorruptible men, because this is anybody who wants to come and do business, you go through Pura and they're supposed to regulate. So you have the guy who was found one thing
by a commission,
highly corruptible, by a commission established by your government, to tell him, you know what, Jogu, forget all these things. I don't care about what these people are talking about. I'm going to make you the head of Pura, the organization that is supposed to be of men that are of character and an organ that's supposed to be incorruptible. I'll make you the head. Musa, that just shows you that Mamad Cham is just the unlucky one. But Barrow does not give a damn about corruption or fighting it. And as long as you are useful to him, it doesn't matter how dirty you are. He would bring you to his corner so that you will continue to sing his praises. And sadly, the Gambian people are paying for it. And I hope the Gambians would also start voting their realities. Otherwise, this nonsense is just going to...
Asamba, Gambians is same bopper. They don't give a hoot. They are all talking. You mentioned Njoguba. 20 years ago, we were here in Atlanta with Njoguba. When we were advocating and going to the CNN building with Bankamane and all the guys, the Habimbais and Salums, and people that were speaking the truth to bring about change in the Gambia. Njoguba, they created what they call APRC Atlanta. He was the head guy. All of you are there. Never meant Njoguba and they are going to say for whatever reason, out of nowhere, this guy has become so powerful and influential, all the way up to the post of Secretary General of the Civil Service in the Gambia. Even when Jammeh came crashing, Njoguba found a way to come right back. corruption, the way we exploit it, is no different the way we exploit tribalism. People don't care. They're not even tribalists. They're not. They exploit it. They will exploit corruption. Barrow doesn't care. And it's not Barrow alone. Let me remind you of that. He's not. Like you said, when anyone who's talking about corruption and your first statement is, well, corruption, Mom Hamgarek, is as old as blah, blah, blah. Wherever you go, St. America, go, corruption on fa. Malako genakam. Donald Trump gonna corrupt my problem. He doesn't even care about it. And there are a lot of Americans that support him that they don't care. But I can tell you one thing. They have the luxury, we don't. Resources are very limited. Mama Cham doesn't believe that whatever he was doing, there was anything wrong with that. Yeah, Nekachi Plus, you have access. That's how most Gambians would function. So Nekachi Plus, they have access. They exploit it to the fullest. The only way corruption can be fought, if you have a leader who would not start by saying, corruption day mom funekala am. Did it. If a leader is willing to send his brother to mile 2, look the other way because the person is corrupt, Gambians will get it. If a leader is willing to walk away from someone, let me tell you this. Manmayo Nyuboka Party, we fought all these years. Now I am the president. Pasamba Jao is found wanting. I'm looking at Fimajara Mom. I'm telling you. And I'm willing to look the other way. It's the typical Gambian, call it propensity to act in that manner. All of us. Some people, I've said this in the past, Gambians living here in the diaspora, anytime they go home and they run into problems, out of convenience, they'll bribe somebody to move on. They don't have time for that. We all participate in this thing we call corruption that is actually undermining the viability of our economy. But somehow, the culture of it, we all embrace it. All we are saying, like you just said, if Gambians want to bring an end to it, we cannot vote for Adama Barrow. Forget about the argument whether Adama Barrow is corrupt or is not corrupt. People would come and say, hey, Adama Barrow, they're corrupted. Our sister, Fatou Kamara, said that. He is corrupt. She said she doesn't think he's corrupt. Then you heard some other people. There was someone else that was interviewed. Was it Sankare? Sankare was here with us for 20 years, fighting Jammeh. And the principles and the things that we all believed in. You listen to Sankare's interview? He's a different person. Why is he a different person? Because Sankare knows if Adama Barrow doesn't get re-elected, he may be out of a job. And he likes things the way things are. Lolu Moitika. Now, for the Gambian voter, this is simple. They need changement. We need to change. We need to try something else. Even though there are no guarantees, Bulakenna, absolutely no guarantees. We have a lot of aspirants. Everybody is saying manla, manla, manla. I get it. Musa Jem fuko neex mu far. Pasamba Jaw fuko neex mu far. Kenen fofu kenen nonu. But man, I do believe for 2026, if we want to start fixing the problem, we want to make sure that these people do not get re-elected. Really. Barrow lim def akanyantale. Whether he did good or he did bad, doina. Try kenen, my friend. So, to fight this corruption, we can holler all over we want and go after Momar Cham all over we want. Do I believe that Momar Cham is corrupt? Yes, I do. I really do. But like quite a few of them out there. Do I believe that Adama Barrow is the one that can fight against corruption at this point? No, I don't. Like a local Bangadan Oye, he has passed the Rubicon. Wow. I don't think he can.
No, but he's not even shown any. No, his hands. You cannot call you. He's not corrupt. You're leading a government, but how many you know the corruption that is going in there, and you're doing nothing about it, and you have the ultimate powers.
I think Fatou is wrong, big time. What Fatou is calling me is not corrupt. And look, we had this conversation with Fatou behind the scenes, and her position is this. So they may borrow ak nimo film neka ak limo leka nga compare ko ñi nga xamne moko wor. Fatou believes that the officials, the technocrats themselves, they are the ones that are kind of robbing us blind, and Barrow is not even aware.
No, it's a the whole thing. Yeah, the whole thing is a joke. Why corruption, mom? I don't think Barrow can fight it. Barrow is not interested in fighting it. Barrow would never do anything to fight it. And like I just said earlier, those who want to fight corruption will not go and just absolve those who've been found wanting by commissions of corruption, and just so that they can be useful tools for you for during elections. But the thing is, Gambian people must also understand their realities. The reason why people continue to live in abject poverty in that country is because of corruption. These people do not care. They do not care about you. And the mere fact that somebody who wants you to elect him into office, looking for a job, is willing to give you $500 or $1,000 so that just is in itself to tell you the type of person that you have, because that person is corrupt in the first place. Somebody told me the other day, Nema, well, I think you should go back and run. So well, I used to have those ambitions, but I don't anymore. Well, but Gambia needs people that are incorruptible to run. Manako, if Gambians can look at, for example, a person like Halifa Sallah, who is very content, who has been in the public space for over 40-something years, never took a dime, a dollar from the government. Even when he was a National Assembly member, when they say we're giving National Assembly members lands, we're giving them moto, I'm not taking it. Here are your fuel vouchers. He returned everything to them untouched. If that person is not even taken seriously in the political space, who will they take seriously? Gambians are not interested in honest people to lead them. They are interested in having people who are dishonest to continue to lead them, and that's what the problem is. So the voters of the country must look at themselves too. Don't just come and complain about lack of electricity now. Don't complain about your inability to have Harry Tobaski. Don't complain about it. You have an opportunity every 4 or 5 years to give the country to people that are honest to run it. If you choose people that are dishonest to run your country, you are never going to have development. Look at what we're dealing with now. Tell me one institution that is run by this government that you can look at and say is functioning well, apart from maybe the Minister of Higher Education. You can give him that. Tell me any institution, whether it is a parastatal or whether it is a ministry, tell me that it is doing the work that it's supposed to do and the Gambian people are benefiting from it. You will struggle to name them. But again, if you live in a country, Musa, where if they ask you, oh, you know what, how many honest people are in the country, and you start counting, you have a problem.
Yeah.
If they ask you, who are the honest people in the country? A country of supposedly 2.5 million, and you want to come, Musa Jengde is this thing. Let me see. Tukulor C is also this thing. Or Buwa Sala is also this thing. Or Nakala Turo Babukar Wada is this thing. Or Naka Bokso is this. So you are counting. This is supposed to be a non-issue. You're not even supposed to know the amount of honest people. But when you start counting the honest ones in a country of over 2 million, Musa, that is not a country that is going to move forward. And that is the joke that we've been dealt with. But again, the responsibility lies on one people and one set of people only, the voters. You're presented with candidates, look at their characters. If they have questionable characters or coming to you and giving you 5 arch so that you send them to office, and you do that, you're not helping the problem. But anyway.
Mota, we can blame each other all we want, but at some point we have to look in the mirror and look at ourselves and be very honest. I mean, Babukar Wada is basically saying, whether we know Barrow is corrupt or not, let's look at Barrow before he became president and who Barrow is now. And I worked with Barrow. I had houses that Barrow was basically the point guy, renting it out for me, and I was paying him 10%. The Barrow that I know then,
he was your employee.
I can tell you, the Barrow that I know then, I don't think it's the same Barrow. I swear to God.
No. You know, Tukulor is here. Tukulor was part of the group and Juka who were taking the photo shots. You know, we could not do the first one because we got on Apollo. So we know what he used to wear. You know, the Velcro is all over the place. So Barrow was not a rich guy. He was not a poor guy.
And the salary
he was a banana. Sol Sedika wrote a very powerful article. When the UDP folks sold us Barrow as this businessman, and Sol Sedika wrote something, there's a difference between a businessman and a banana. The guy is not a businessman, he's a banana. I'll have to look for that article again. It was a very powerful article that he wrote. But that's the thing, he was not rich.
No, he was a poor guy. He was not rich. Now, was he a hardworking guy? Absolutely. He was fending for himself, especially at that time, being part of the opposition, running as an opposition candidate, and doing your thing, surviving in the Gambia was not easy. I mean, it was basically impossible. He was doing it, but was he rich? No. He was a survivor. Now, is he committed to fight corruption as a president of the Gambia? He's not. He's definitely not. And it's not a question of whether you like the man or not. Look at the decisions that he has made. You've already cataloged it. Mamadou Sabally was found wanting by this very commission that he himself put together. This was in 2017, the Janneh Commission, and he was banned. Now, it's one thing to go back and say, you know what, he's a young guy, let's give him a second chance. You can do that. But the way you went about it is suspicious. And you do it for... It
was deliberate, not suspicious. It was just deliberate.
And people knew that you did it just because of it's going to help you politically. Other people are questioning, his leadership style. And after 10 years, dafa doy ñun dañ bëgg ñu trayat keneen sax kooku ñoo corrupt sax ñu mos keneen nga am ñu corruption players su fekkee ne ñun corruption mënuñ koy génnee dañ ci player tamit ñi corrupté ba sonn ñu sonn ci ñu di keneen ñoo Moussa Dieng tamit ñoo corrupt tuuti if that is the case, I'm just saying, why not so Sanjay Lambatu a little bit? I don't think we're going to be able to change our faith. I don't think electing Barrow for another 5 years in any way is going to help the country. I don't believe it.
Musa, let me tell you this. Gambia, you know why we in fact need a change? There is a saying in all of the su wenye ko ame.
Wow.
That's where we are.
Yeah.
If you have a country where somebody like Sidi Njai is still relevant in your body politics, to the extent that Sidi Njai would ascend to the position of deputy speaker, Sidi Njai, who does not have anything that Sidi Njai can present in front of you, Musa, intellectually, morally, politically, nothing that Sidi Njai can come to you and tell you, you know what, this is my CV, this is what I have done in my life. That should, in fact, wow you in any way possible. There is nothing, and there is nothing personal, but I'm just stating facts. Sidi Njai, let Sidi Njai bring his CV and present it in front of anybody and say, this is what I've achieved in life. This is what I have done in life. Educationally, and socially, or whatever. Nothing, nada, tus. But to have this guy to become so relevant in our country, to the extent that he would go and spew his hatred towards people, just so that he would continue to siboro. Again, so they get all of the siboro, moy siboram. Lola. So mungeneka chibori ninyi so that that's his life. Siboro katla. So he would always look for somebody to latch onto so that he would continue to leech. He's like a leech on those people to remain relevant. He cannot survive on his own. There is nothing that he can do independently. He has proven that throughout his life, he would never do that. And this is why when Gamsu was banned, he went and took that opportunity to Suboru Yaya Jammeh and became part of that. And that did not even take long before Yaya Jammeh accused of stealing. No, Salum, dama la njay so len baye xel na Gambia. Ñuy def tafar bari na njay de.
And look at Pasaba, and this is
Buma dok bilay mema. So this guy was sorry de. That's his life.
Right.
But again, to have this man, he is relevant in our body politics. Musa tells you how, the the moral decadence of our country is manifested by the fact that Sidinjai is still relevant in our politics, Musa. There is nothing that he does not have the political muscle. He does not have the moral muscle. He does not have the educational muscle. He does not have the economic muscle. He does not have the integrity. He does not have the dignity. There is nothing that Sidinjai has that anybody can look at and say, you know what? This is one person that I can go after. But Sidinjai can single-handedly deny a whole community of people, Nyanija, Chairman, the opportunity to have a maternity ward because he felt somebody who was associated with that project was his opponent. Sidinjai would go and have a discussion where he is now telling people, this guy is a Mandinka. That's why we have to watch him. Do you know why this person was not director of GRTS? I was the one who told the president that he should not be because of his UDP. Mandinkas are this. Fullers are that. And then to come and give us that cacophony of what is this called? Apology. Well, when my first marriage, my wife was a Mandinka, and the venerable Usainu Dabo was the one who gave. First off, few weeks ago, you went and told people the party that Usainu Dabo leads is a party of fitna. To you, Usainu Dabo is in need of fitna. But when you needed an alibi to cover your hatred, let me insert Usainu Dabo's name in there. It's utter nonsense. But again, Musa, this is the problem that we have as a country. And unless the Sidinjais of the world continue to be relevant, we can kiss goodbye.
Is the assumption of our gullibility. And to some extent, he's right. He feels like, look, this is the Sidinjai. After 2016, he was done, dusted. But somehow he managed to come back. Like you said, Sidinjai doesn't really have much. But you don't need to have much in the Gambia to become somebody. You don't need to be qualified. You would even think that maybe he has political capital. Amud janga, amud kamkam, amud khalis. But I'm not political capital. But he doesn't even have that. But he doesn't need it. I mean, he's been surviving. He's one of the most powerful person. Ku am xewdal bo jelul Sidinjai def ko principal guest of honor. Muy du bax. Muy jaga rek warambaji. Sidi kay fi ne dafa leer nañ sax. He's doing good. I mean, why is he going to change? Why? But again, Pasamba, it comes back to it's in our hands. That was what Salum said. And it was just so that I just wanted to read it. Because, going all the way back during the time of the struggle, here was a guy who had an office downtown Atlanta. You cannot come to Atlanta, all the who is who, that we wouldn't take you to, urban. That's where his office located. I still remember sitting around table with Alaji A&M Dabo at Salum's office. You name them, Omar Amadou Jallow, Wajuara, all the politicians. So ñun xamante nañ, and anybody ko xamne is still on the outside bokut. It's just that we didn't play the game. Not that we are dumb. We could play the game too. But this is why, but the loudest critics of corruption in the Gambia are often led by some members of the diaspora, and I think that is important.
Yep.
Who aid and abet corrupt government officials by helping them acquire properties in Europe, America, and other African countries.
Yep.
They will even buy their way out of anything in the Gambia. Gomun dara bulakenna. They're all talking. Dara len gomut. So to fight corruption, we have to have. It doesn't mean, but then I'm put leader but believe in it. That doesn't mean he'll be successful. Why don't I put gom konjeka? For starters, if you have a no-nonsense leader who is very focused, who understands, you know what? The only way I can build this economy, the only way that I can develop this country, I have to fight corruption head on. And seriously, that is very important, because that is going to get to the bottom of even the people that you are going to appoint to certain offices, meritocracy will start playing a vital role. But bro, if you don't have an individual, when you have after 10 years by now, what he's capable of, look at the question that was asked. Barrow, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, about this electricity problem? The guy, I think he's the new Minister of Communication and Digital Economy. The question came and he just jumped the guns. Because come now, why am Jim Andal? It takes time a little bit to even understand the question. And then when Barrow came, he was all over the place. He's out of his league. Seriously. I mean, he's done his thing. He has his limitations. Fofula. I mean, you don't have to be a PhD or an intellectual giant. I'm not talking about that. Man, Conte Umalulu. But the man has shown his hand, what he's capable of, and his limitations. I mean, I'm not going to blame people who believe that this particular government is run by technocrats. As long as you do your thing, I mean, you can get away with anything. Really. They're the ones running the show. You will never be able to have a leader who knows everything. It's not possible. But bro, you need to have a leader who is very knowledgeable, who really can sit down and listen to Pastor Ambajau telling me about this AI BS. Maybe I don't know much about AI, but I'm confident enough to listen and ask questions and see, how does this help the country? What you are telling me. I don't think Barrow is capable of doing that.
No, he is not. He is not capable of doing that. And Musa and Lolo deserting. That's what I'm talking about. We all Gambians call Senegal, we have our bigger issues. You look at Senegal. Listen to those people. Jumai, you have an interview with Jumai. You know he can hold his own. You have an interview with Sonko, the same thing. You have an interview with all these political leaders. They can hold their own. But at least you look at them, you see people that are trying. They are, in fact, having an ideological battle.
Fight, yes.
You know, what the direction that this country is supposed to go. That's what they're dealing with now. You know, we have a Gambia, they can be the Burfen.
No, I pass on, but Guyana is not ideological, it's personal. And I think we need
even when it is personal.
To Senegal, there is
no, Musa, even when it is even if it is personal, most, you listen to them. Just look at Senegal, the trajectory of that country, and look at Gambia. And you know what is so dishonest about this government? Barrow invoked third world. We're a third world country.
And that's not even the right balance. We're not a third world, we're a developing country.
No, hold on, sir. Let us even be a fifth world country. I've always said this, that the Gambia government acts like, people who are on welfare, on food stamp,
right?
But they're driving Lamborghini. That's what we are. We would invoke poverty when it comes to basic services for the people. But the leadership lives beyond the means of our government. I ask this question again to Gambians. When was the last time you heard that a minister had not gone to work because his car broke down or her car broke down? When?
It never happens.
It has never happened.
No.
They buy themselves new cars every time. Musa, a friend of mine went to the courts in the Gambia recently. They said this hearing was supposed to be at, 9 o'clock. They were sitting there. Then they were told later, well, we have to adjourn because the magistrate's driver is not back from Tobaski yet. So is that a serious country? So Tobaski, you went for Tobaski. But the magistrate who is supposed to come and litigate matters, maybe chances are this were all dragging for a very long time, could not come to court because you decided, hey, you know what, they'll say Guma. And they say, okay, let's adjourn the matter. That would not happen anywhere else in the world, Musa, only in the Gambia. And this is the problem that we have. These people live large. They do not care about the livelihood of the people. And when it comes to giving the people when they need, that is when they turn around and tell you the Ukraine war, the COVID thing, or the Russia war, or the Iranian war, and all this nonsense that they have an excuse for anything that has to do with the livelihood of the Gambian people. But for them, every day they are traveling. We all know each other. They are all over the world, traveling. They are being paid their per diems. None of them have ever said, you know what, I'm not taking it. And you know what, Musa? It was in 2017. You remember when they had, I think it was 2017, when they had the conference, the donor conference in Belgium.
Yeah, in Belgium.
They came back and said, you know what? We have pledges of $1.7 billion. The body bookers started writing this thing and asking for the money. Everybody was celebrating. Barrow came and was all happy at the airport and said, you know what? In support of the National Development Plan, I, President Adama Barrow, I'm going to donate 10% of my salary to the NDP. Nobody has been, I've asked this question a billion times, not a penny can be looked at and said, you know what, this is what he has donated.
Deduction that is going to the consolidated
Well, you know what, there would have been, you know what, if you're donating to government, we should know. I think he could have said that. He's always bragging about what he does. He would have by now told us that from that day to now, this is what I've done. But Musa, it's just a joke.
I wanna shift gears to Senegal, especially. There is a lot of Pasamba, as we all, Gambia, for instance. There's a lot of talk about coalition talks. There is a trust factor, and then politicians. The moment they get to the presidency, some people will say they change. I remember when Jomai Moi Sonko Moi Jomai. People are saying, no, Ninyom, I'm sure it can never happen. Even Jomai himself, again and again, a different opportunity, he would say, there is absolutely, that is not even possible. And here we are, confronted with that. Everyone has an opinion. And you know how Gambians are. Hey, Sonko, I'm not supporters Gambia. But especially within my UMC family. Watching Dankare, Sonko. Nyom Nene Frida. I mean, you name them. Pastor, how do you see what we're witnessing in Senegal? Is it about betrayal? Is it about power? Is it about personality conflict? Is it about betrayal from the other side? Because some are saying, actually, Jomai didn't betray, it was Sonko who actually betrayed him. What's your take on all of this?
Musa, to me, my take is this. Because I really cannot sit here and say who is right and who is wrong.
Who is wrong?
But I believe it is the biggest betrayal of the aspirations of young Africans who were vying for, because this Sonko Jumai thing, this Pastef thing, there was a lot of euphoria and hope around Africa that finally we have young people who have ideologies, especially the Francophone countries.
Yes.
Because of what Sonko was saying and how they want to deal with the French and all that stuff. There was a lot of hope. But I believe with this divide, what is going to prove is that this perception that people have of politicians, that they cannot be trusted and all that. So to me, it is a sad thing for African politics. But coming back to what you were saying, the support that they get in the Gambia, my only concern with your UMC people is that if they were to become the government of the Gambia, what would be their relationship with Pastef? Would it be one where they would be equal, or would it be one where because they treat this guy like he's a demigod, this Sonko. Yeah. You know, you see MC Cham and the way that he talks about Sonko, you'll think he's talking about God. So to me, my concern is you cannot be like, we had a relationship, with Landing Savané of Senegal, who was hot at the time. But it was based on equal this thing. You're not going to see Halifa Sallah touting Landing Savané as if he's the greatest person alive, or see they are doing that. So to me, I don't know. I'm always very concerned, because it is one thing when you are a private citizen, but if it's an order, if you are an official leader of a political party in any leadership role, and how you portray an equal from across, the pond from a different country. I don't know.
No, but man, for that point though, I'm not really very concerned, because you got to understand too, the reality within the party, UMC, we all know that whether it's Talib and some of the other guys, they look at the board. I mean, they look at Senegal, and what they see, they get their inspiration from Sonko. They see that if this young guy, this new generation of leaders can do this, they were inspired. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Now, they are opposition. They are not in government. I mean, and that's the way I see it. I'm sure a unite government will act absolutely, totally differently. I mean, that's just to be expected. Now, but now that they are in the opposition, here they are. I mean, there's nothing wrong with
forging relationships.
I'm sorry, building relationships.
Oh yeah, that's a different thing from pretty much treating somebody like a demigod.
I don't think that they're treating them as a demigod. They're inspired. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, inspiration from.
I still understand that.
So for me, that's where the I mean, of course, they're getting a lot of flack. Some people are even questioning why would they go to Congress. I mean, I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, that happens.
No, you can go to Congress.
You can
Doi went to the UMC Congress. What was wrong with that?
And also, look, politicians and parties are always making political calculations. I'm not a, like I always said, I'm not a Sonko, like some Sonko patriot. I wouldn't consider myself that. Really, I don't drink the Sonko Kool-Aid. But I can understand when a party, in this case UMC, they're making political calculations. They're inspired by Pasteur, and they see what I would call having a relationship with them is good for the party. There's nothing wrong with that.
I love that, Musa. I'm talking from experience. Not only did we have relationship with Landing Sawan, we had relationship with the Labour Party. They used to invite us to their conferences and all that. But what I'm saying here is, when you are equals, Sonko is opposition now. Talib is opposition. UMC, and they are all opposition. Exactly. You cannot be seen to be pretty much jamu these people. But that's what I see.
No, Pasamba. That's your own characterization of it. Ni jamu unfiken. I mean, they are not doing that. Going to Senegal, how is that seen as jamu?
No, what I'm telling you, what them Senegal is no. Musa, hold on. What them say, I have no problem with anybody going to Senegal. If you're invited, you go.
So where you
if they had invited UDP, the UDP would have gladly gone.
Of course.
But what I'm saying, Moine, the characterization of Sonko by some of your key leadership, to me, like,
Talib is not doing that.
I didn't say mention Talib by name. Man, MC MC mom order man legi mo order oyet at nakaki Sayyidina Talib.
No, MC even when he was in the UDP, you have to look at MC and his personality. When MC was with Mama Kande, you remember? I mean, Mama could do no wrong. President Kande Lakodan Oye. I mean, that's just MC's personality and his nature. I don't think it has anything to do with the DNA of Unite as it is.
Well, let's see. Let's see if Momuji. I hope that's not the case.
Someone is telling me whether have I seen the Congress. Look, Sonko, one thing I know for a fact, he is one of the most powerful politicians in Senegal today. I'm telling you. I mean, the guy is very savvy. He knows exactly what he's doing. And the fact that he is the president of the National Assembly, the kind of influence that he has, Sonko, you can like him, you can disagree with him all you want, which I do most of the time. When I do that all the time, because for me, even this, I'm not totally blaming Jumai. I think he contributed a lot to it. Man, I was always suspicious of this project. This prose. I mean, I think there is a lot of hype to it, if you ask me. So when I wasn't surprised, 2 years down the line, they were not able to change the lives of the Senegalese people. In fact, economically, they are worse off. Now, there are arguments out there. The Sonko patriots will say, look, the only reason we were not able to deliver is because Jomai Sibopam, he is the one who basically abandoned the principles of the party and joined the enemy. Mimi Toure and some of these, that they perceive as the government of yesteryear. That's their argument. And to most Pastef supporters, that's how they see it. But the reality is, the project has been tested and it hasn't worked. Now, for Jumai now, he was hiding behind the whole problem is Sonko. Sonko is the problem. Now Sonko is gone. Now it is your government. What the hell are you going to do for the Senegalese people? If he doesn't deliver, at least if he does, he can always go back and say, look, the reason why for the past 2 years I wasn't able to deliver is because of Sonko and his radicalism. He could say that, paint him in that picture. But if he doesn't deliver, Sonko isn't in there. Sonko is a master politician. Senegalese people, Sonko will always remind them, look, man, these were the promises I made. Munumako death because these people are corrupt and we were betrayed by our own individual. And as long as he succeeds in convincing the Senegalese people of that, if you count out Sonko in 2029, you're doing it at your own peril.
No, it's going to be a challenge. But I think because Jumai too, Musa, listen, if you go and talk about your politic narrative sentigante, you will leave and all that stuff. Now all of a sudden you want to forget that. There is something to it. And power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Nidal dangadegu. Well, money Usman we get in why so and then you have all this Musa, and this is why the people that are rushing in coalitions in Wahni and all that stuff.
Yes.
Then you have to be Gambia. We've gone through that. We've seen how not disintegrated, and every time it has to do with power. When it comes to, it can be all kumbaya until one is given the power or one is denied the power and the true colors come in. But Musa, they don't know what somebody.
Mariam, have you read the project? I have to read. I've listened to the project. I'm telling you, Mariam, I'm telling you. I don't see that they've delivered 2 years down the line with the project. It hasn't changed the Senegalese, the average Senegalese. They're talking about changing it.
I think that the project, it would have been easier if you had a completely Pastef government, because the project is a Pastef project.
But they did.
They did not.
No, the National Assembly. Look, what Pastef asked for was this. When Jumai won, they're like, Joxle ñu Assemblée Nationale. They are all Pastef. 165 seats, I think they got 135. The majority. Whatever they wanted, they can do it. They had it. For 2 years, the Senegalese people were worst off. The question
but could they have been worst off because of what your man did? Because first off, Macky.
Oh, come on.
The dictator.
You can always blame when Macky was there, Senegal was prospering. That's the truth.
But you know what? These people came, these people came and discovered that Macky, this conniving person that he is, had taken loans, misrepresented the status of the country's economy and all that stuff. So they came and self-reported. And people were saying that was a mistake. They should not have done that.
Bro, I mean, that's all political talk.
It's not all political
when
talk.
You run against an establishment. The Senegalese people, they came out in numbers. The Senegalese people, they lined up. They bought into everything that they said. They voted for them. They're saying even the people going through the back way, it will stop. 20 mois buñ ko jëlé pétrole bi ñëw na. We have to take it to the Senegalese people. This so-called caisse noire will bring it to an end. Everything that they say when they got in there, they did not change it. Now, you can question and blame. They can say it's Jomai. You can say it's Sonko. But when everything is said and done, the Senegalese people were taken for a ride. The change. Man, I was always very skeptical of the promises that they were given. That there is one thing, like they said, you campaign in poetry and then you govern in prose. It is difficult, absolutely difficult. And that's what we are seeing. But again, this thing has to play out. If you ask me, I'm not drinking that Sonko Kool-Aid. No way. And I don't, and Jomai mom, benen affaire la. I will not blame people for saying that he betrayed the cause. Affaire bi dafa neex, Jomai yangi leer. I mean, he's doing well. And now, and Pasama, let me tell you the one that pisses me off more than anything else. These people, they took over. 2029 was 5 years away. And you listen to Sonko, he's talking about 2029. You listen to Jomai, he's talking about Jomai coalition. Wait a minute. You guys are giving a mandate to govern for 5 years, and you guys are talking.
Moza, why should that piss you off? That's what happened in the Gambia too. Dagafate Gambia.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. And I know the recipe for that.
A disaster. But what I wanted to say, Musa, coming back to Gambia, but I know close. More this Nawek thing. I was talking to somebody today. We were talking about Nawek. And something just clicked. Maybe my analysis are wrong. But Musa, you are a controller. From Nekani is a hotel. So your concept payroll be from Nekani by 100%. Why revenue has not been increased. What's going to happen?
It's a big problem.
It's a big problem. What I think has happened to Gambia, ak Nawek, more this expansion, this expansion of the, the rural electrification.
Yes.
And I believe they did that without increasing the capacity of Nawek to be able to handle it. Man, this is my own analysis of it.
And you can be way off, sir. You cannot be way off. It's very possible. They will.
So now Barrow wants to electrify the electrification of the country, the whole country.
Yes.
While Nawek was struggling to even take care of 30% of the country in supplies. Now you have stretched its to the capacity beyond the capacity of the machine Sibopam, because I've not seen anywhere where they say that they have increased the capacity. Of course, Baro de Bonafik Bera Corete, one of you make a senior machine is wow, we have so much capacity than connector. So, because if you look at it, for the Gambia to have electricity all over, Car Power Ship was there to cover some area. Senelec or whatever they are called was there to cover some area.
Yeah.
Okay. Senelec from Neka, we owe them about how many $1 billion is over, I think 18 billion or whatever it is of money that we've not paid them yet. All right. Now Nawek is supposed to do this thing. And then now we're talking about Taimi Tobaski. When all Nyaukat yips around the country are using electricity, all over. Yeah. How much I'm making sense?
You making sense.
So man, I believe yes, lack of strategic development is what is catching up to us. It is one thing to be roads all over the place. It is an order. Now you are giving electricity to the whole country when the capacity of the machines have not been increased to be able to match the supply demand.
We'll try to bring Jallow Sedi, my main man, the MD
Jallow
of
Sedi, why the chair this thing who is talking about is being politicized. How do you
the Director General is Jallow Sedi. But again, like I said, I mean, we'll bring him here and then we'll ask him the question. Because up to today, there was this press conference that they had and Dr. Cisse was all over the place talking about Fila Arijar, and nobody is buying into what the doctor is saying. You guys use this electricity thing, politicize it to the hilt. 95% that every hamlet there'll be electricity. I mean, lampi tal nengo fune, bodeme batinjol, jaring, kayaf, tonyataba, lampi yangi taku fune. You guys use it as a political weapon. Bu lampo yu takun ngene nit ñi use as a political weapon. Why I mean,
so that's the thing. So when it works, we can use it. But when it doesn't work, so don't talk about it.
Go out there and say the things. And like you said, was this strategic or was it a political ploy? Can you seriously electrify the entire country when the capacity is not even there? When you should be investing in same distribution lines, anytime they will lose 10 to 15 or 20%.
I think that's what happened.
We need a real leader. The moment you get elected, you can forget about running for re-election. And that's what's even happening in Senegal. You know what's the problem? If we elect a new leader in 2026, and I hope it's going to be UMC Talib Ahmed Bensouda, I hope that he's not going to be consumed with getting ready to run in 2031. That'd be the biggest mistake. You have to say, you know what? I am going to be here just for one term. win or lose. And I'm going to give it all I get. Every decision I make is going to be strategic. What is it going to, how is it in line with our 5-year development plan? How is it in line with making sure I get access to water to every Gambian? Unless we have a leader like that, who is a leader that has the capacity, a leader that is disciplined, I mean, we're gonna have it again. Because it's all gonna come down to politics. Suma wajila. Let's say, for instance, when Barrow came, we all talked about this term limit. Everybody believed in it in 10 years. Everybody believed in a new constitution where even the president nominating a candidate in a National Assembly, we will do away with it. The moment you get in there, well, wait a minute, I'm not going to change this because this is helping me. You look the other way. You hear the Sankaras of this world that taught me, Ibrahim Silla, they all believe no president should run for more than 10 years. Dr. Cisse, not too long ago, he believed in it. Now they don't. But why?
Alajibo came here and told us that he's not going to support them. But I want us to bring them.
So these people, now all of a sudden they're changing tone. And if you tell them that, well, but he has delivered for the Gambian people and the constitution be hamga, and then they'll point fingers at UDP. Now, wow, because they are the ones who fought the Manalian. Okay, now. But they did not do that.
No, I mean, Barrow was not interested.
They haven't done that. You guys are the ones. They were not interested.
No, but Musa, what was Barrow's reason? Take a conversation with somebody. Neko, when Aliou Cisse asked him a specific direct question, are you going to run? Muneko, yes, because my party is new and I don't want the party to die. That is his only reason.
He said that today too?
No. That was the interview he had with Aliou Cisse.
Oh, yeah.
So that was the only reason. His only reason for running for a third term, according to Barrow, not to better the lives of the Gambian people or do anything, is because his party doesn't want his party to die. Because chances are people went and told him, you know what, so if I can run law, this party is Dehna.
But that's, as a political observer, I think that's true. If the man doesn't run, because most of those guys there, they don't have anything in common.
No, but what I'm telling you, Musa Moy, if your only motivation,
of course,
to be president,
yes,
is so that a political party does not die,
yes,
you have no business running. We do not have that. This is Trump and nonsense. I mean, what America has the luxury. Musa, you can go to your job, Benjibi. You don't have any dealings with Trump whatsoever. You don't, unless you want to talk about him. Of course, the gas prices would hurt your wallet and all that stuff, yes. But you can live your life and ignore him. Gambia, we cannot. Everything revolves around the central government.
If you go to right now, you take Sun Highway I-285 at 20. They billion overpass you garao your hamne for the past 2 weeks. Musuma Dega, and this is election year. Anybody coming there talking about overpass bile kakak?
So you go Ibisa yendele ko yek. Dengeni jeke gis guy again and say why indi Gambia ñun Barrow dafa bay ligéyam bi office ba yep ñu indi sabarkat yi asobi yem ñoo ñu ngi ibi ben overpass. It's the joke. So what
that tells you, I mean, where we are as a people. You are basically campaigning of this road for the roads that you built. And man, I will give you credit. You oversee it, you deliver. Gambia is a different place. Indiga electricity bi ne ko ñu ngi taal and yaa ngi campaign on it. Lamp yaa ngi kamaji. But I like this comedians. There is this boy on TikTok. Boy, he's so serious when you tell lamp karasenam. And I remember lamp karasin in Kaur blowing on the lamp karasin at Samuel. And this is not funny. And we are dealing with the reality.
That's the reality.
50 years down the line, we have not been able to. This happened back in 1977. I mean, and we were studying at high school, JHS Lafayette from GUC. Up till today,
was that GUC then? What was the name then?
GUC Lawn.
Oh, okay. Because it was something and then it turned to GUC.
Oh, it was GUC, then
MSG.
Then moved on to the MSG. This is what happened. The French company came. Manfona said, we need to look into that. The French company came and they took over it's similar to this PPP that we are talking about. Understand what I mean? GC was there as a holding company, but Nino knew on the run operation, especially Billings, because Billing was just messed up. So MSD came, and they couldn't fix it. Yeah, Jame with all his stock. Mange father ko bim jele first generator yi. Guy dem jeli affaire bi ports. Safari.
Buko sila lo wi safara ni.
Jele don wi safara si. Si generator si. Ñu ne nak fim neka that's it.
No, why they're buying the same nonsense? Gis nga the same generator you nga da dem sorti si. Gis nga it's no different from your generator. They're just bigger. Sorti si essence. Right. We are not being innovative. And Young Barrow had that opportunity. The amount of money that was pumped into NAWEC from 2017 to date, Musa, billions of dollars. They could have used that and said, you know what, we're going to go. No, but they just have to engage. We are then lazy. And when you go, like Alpha Robinson went there to try to make changes, what did they do? They ran him out of town. The same way that Manjang was ran out of town because they don't want honest people. They are looking for the bottom line. This thing. They're looking for their pockets.
I remember Salo Kini, Momodu Sabali, was on Alpha's case every little decision he makes. Then talking about, and that's how they were able to get him fired and bring in Nani Jawara because he's his friend. The same Nani who's now the current the current Minister of Energy. Can you imagine the same players, my friend? Now, do I believe it's an easy fix? I don't. I think it is very complex.
Let me tell you something. Can I tell you something?
But
man, I believe it's an easy fix. Man, you know what? No, this is what Musa Nyunwi Hamga Gambia is such a small country. Musa, all we have to do is have a leadership. Binga Hamdani is transformational. That's it. We should have gone past this stupid generator thing, Sotiti Essence, Sotiti gas oil, and all those things. Okay, this is a country about Hamdani. Musa, solar is in abundant supply. Sibopa. We could have innovated in a way a hybrid system.
No, but they're doing that. They do have some of the power is actually coming from because I was listening to this guy and I think we need to bring him. James, Maryland. James
I know James. Yep.
Very knowledgeable. He wrote something about it. Understand what I mean? And he even talked about the solar, the problem with the solar. I'm going to solar time is yes, you can, but the peak demand at night, it's not there. But then, the reason why I'm saying it's not an easy fix. I believe I want to give them that. It is complex. But like you said, you have to have a transformational leader, a very sophisticated person, will kind of look at things outside of the box. Not just the usual, but bring in advisors from different places. Boy, don't even bring your so-called supporters, Rick. Find people, they're professionals, and let them debate. Let's find answers. Because it's a problem. When you have a 50, 60-year problem, one has to assume it is indeed a problem.
So it's now a 49-year problem.
No, Jawara had the problem.
Yeah, Manila. This problem now is a 49-year problem.
Let me have it.
Because in 1977, Binga sits A levels.
No, monkey lower forms today. 1977, monkey form 2 form. No. 77 form 3 form 4. Chair was 2 classes ahead of me, if I remember. Okay.
So you're talking about a 49-year problem.
Yes.
Better. Muniko solve. And it's not like we do not have the expertise. Musa, what is happening, Musa? When they want a controller at your job, they ask people to apply.
Yes.
They look at resumes. They ask you, give you tough scenarios. How do you tell me a situation? You interview, I'm an interviewer. How were you able to solve a problem A, B, C, and D? You have to present something tangible. You like interview, they don't know your mom, they don't know your dad, they don't know your uncle, they don't know anything. All they are looking at is a resume. You are giving a job. If you cannot perform, you know somebody else. In the Gambia, what do you do? Monday suma kii mu fi de suñ supporter la nañ ko yóbbu nawek.
Bro, look at, if you use the analogy of football in the Premier League, if you're a coach, and you're not winning games, they don't give a hoot whether I'm not libero or I'm not good players, you're out of a job.
Yep.
Same thing in American football here. I'm telling you, they bring you in, you are not winning games, they take you out. Man, I do believe the reason why Mahause Mandu, I don't think is a quick fix, because it's a very complex situation. I understand that. Gambia is not a rich country. I get that. But what I think we lack, though, we don't have the leadership that is required to confront this problem. And Gambians, we're 6 months before the elections. You have a choice. If we don't have the leadership, maybe because we don't have the people either. Because when everything is said and done, it's the people that are actually selecting the leaders. So if we have bad leadership, then we have bad people, our electorate, that don't know what they're doing. Now, if we vote for the right person, at least give our country a chance. Koko should deliver. You try for him, my friend, until we find the right guy, because there are no guarantees. And that's what we're talking about. Let's look across the border. The Senegalese people, when there was a lot of talk about Macky, after everything that Macky did, they were like, you know what? We want change. And especially the young people, they took it upon themselves. They lined up and they voted for change. Even if it doesn't work for them, they're knowing that in 2029, we will have another shot at it. That's how a citizen should act. But
anyway, Musa, you never deal as a president. We have to like question. We are much out of this thing. Mum said 2020 elections are no problem.
I'm going to go on Dumade Waham, and I'm Yosa. You do help yourself. You don't watch Trump and his.
Oh no, I don't. Mota Manila Dokna Smokibo, Dokna CNN, Dokna MSNBC, Fox. I don't watch any of those things. Whatever I see there is comedy. That's it.
Yeah, man, I like
time for that.
I like to punish myself.
Yeah,
all I do is be out there screaming at the TV, and my wife would think that there is something wrong with me. You know, you sit down in Senegal theater, you know, in the other room. I mean, that's what I do. We're not talking about punishing yourself. But Papa, it's a good one. But thank you, Tough. Definitely. It was nice having Tough.
Definitely.
But I'm telling you, Pastor, Tough is definitely been making name for himself. They are these Sierra Leoneans, all they're talking about Mustafa Njai. You know, I mean, and that says a lot. I mean,
oh yes,
he understands now. If I'm going to, I mean, the Gambian market is so small. If I want to make it big, I have to go to the sub-region. I mean, Tough is operating in Sierra Leone and he's in Liberia, and I mean, he's doing his thing. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And of course, Cherno Jallow. But Cherno, man, I have hope in him. First of all, the guy is very smart. Nobody would doubt that. You listen to him today, he's a real reformer. And having the Independent Electoral Commission as one of the leaders, I think that's good for the commission, seriously. And I think all of us should give them, the benefit of the doubt. Let's give them second chance. Now, let's not sleep. Let's leave one eye open, but let's also allow the process, because if our democracy is at stake, we don't want to become a failed country. So, and we need institutions for it to work. In the United States, do you believe this, Pasamba?
Mm-hmm.
About Gambia, when they used to have the permanent secretary minister of local government as the key election officer. In the United States, that's how it is. Nyun Fini, the secretary of state, a Republican, is the one organizing elections. Mm-hmm. You will not believe it. In the United States, party operators are the ones organizing elections. Can you believe that?
Well, you fought it. You fought that in the Gambia.
But I'm just telling you, even in so-called Western democracies like the US, you're having party officials running elections.
Oh,
but
yes.
Still, the system, to some extent, it works. What we are saying is, without a doubt, Independent Electoral Commission, he has his flaws. But I seeing now and the Cherno Jallows, the Jokolis, and the reform agenda that they are pursuing, I mean, I think we should give them the benefit of the doubt. Monday, I'll call them out. Really, if I see, just like I did, was it a month ago? I mean, I'm still not absolutely convinced with the way they're handling the UMC registration. It is what it is. It is what it is. I think it doesn't help the party. And we're in it to win it, and we don't want this to kind of saddle us with the problem that comes with it. But anyway, and again, extending our condolences to Sarayang and Jainaba and the entire Dr. Sonko's family in Yala Hareko Ajana. Definitely. Brother man, let's try to bring maybe Gallo Sedi next Sunday.
Well, yeah, let's do that, and then at least maybe we can get answers for the people.
Yeah.
He's worried about this thing.
Brother man, we'll talk on the other side.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.
And to the Gambian voters, vote your realities. Otherwise, leave them internet in an array.
And you know, when you say vote your realities, what does that mean? Vote for UMC.
Vote for DOI and any party that DOI is associated with in the next elections.
If you don't vote for UMC, vote for any opposition party. That is at least.
Oh, by the way, sir, did you hear Useinu's thing yesterday?
About Usainu has always said that. He said that people should focus on mom. He's focused on running against Barrow.
Barrow, yep.
Well, I'm the small guy. I mean, some boy on the other small guy Birkama area council.
No, and I listened to them. Natamas's interview. It was good. Natamas' mom is.
Nata is good. Nata is very, very good. Nata is very level-headed. I kind of said something about it. People think Nata is no pushover. I'm telling you. I mean, he knows how to make a punch and take a swing, but he does it in a way, Bohamne. You know, he's different, and you got to do that, bro. You support Bena Plus, and people need to kind of deal with that. People are gonna like people for different reasons, and it is just the nature of the beast. All we can do is let's have our disagreements in a very civil way, and then at the end of the day, but just vote for the opposition when everything is said and done. At least you can say, I am not one of the voters who is endorsing the present status quo. Because if you vote for Barrow, then you're voting for Lendem Guinea deal right now. If you vote for Barrow, affordability that we're dealing right now.
You talk. But anyway, most.
Yeah.
Beboba, Akasa.